Check 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2.
Wow. Let's go. Untamed. Wake up.
First Sky Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
Wake up.
Check.
Wake up, 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 wake up.
Yo.
Wake up. Wake up.
Shout out to Sherman Wells.
Wake up.
Good morning.
Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. You better wake up from this dream. Life is not what it seems.
What's going on, y'all? Fresh edition of First Sky Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
Doing it on a Monday. It is
man.
October 7th, 2024. Appreciate you guys waking up with us early this morning. Of course, we got the hard news coming at 7 o'clock, but we want to get on a little early so we can say hello and how you doing to all of the First Sky Omaha fam, Chad Chimers, Ghost listeners, everyone.
Everybody.
Yep. Appreciate you guys joining us this morning. Good morning. How you doing, buddy?
Man, a little tired, boss. A little tired, but we here. How you doing, man? How's it going in your world?
Yeah. Definitely could use a couple more winks, like you like to say.
Yeah.
But up and rolling. Got lots to talk about today for sure. We got that big meeting that Sherman Wells had last night on his show, Sunday Sermon with Sherman.
Mm-hmm.
Had brother Leo Lewis on. So that was quite powerful. A lot of the Chad Chimers showed up and checked in on that. Appreciate that very much. I see Mama God in the house already. Good morning, Mama God. How you doing?
My dukes. Early. Yeah.
That's what's up.
Yeah.
Up bright and early this morning. Appreciate that. And everybody else is coming on in. I see people coming in. Yep. Give us the hellos. How you doing this morning? We trying to make it happen on a Monday for sure.
Man, hello. Yeah, man. How's it going, man? What you do over the weekend? What's going on?
Just really kind of worked. I worked at a easier pace this time though. I had a deadline, and once I kind of knocked that out Friday night, then the pressure was off, and I can go back and kind of tweak the things I needed to. So it was pretty much kind of work and decompress and chill a little bit this weekend, and that's really kind of it, man. I didn't get to get out and do much of anything because of that reason. Still had very intense week for me last week work wise, and I had to catch up on things this weekend that I neglected last week because of the intensity. So
man, work-life balance. It's a constant struggle. Work-life balance is a constant struggle.
I'm still feeling it right now. So
yeah. Couple extra bags a day, but couple winks to knock that out. But yeah. Sometimes you gotta make it happen. But we here.
Go. Pop says good Monday morning and mad love from Las Vegas. Appreciate you, Pops.
Hey.
Martha Harrison says good morning, First Sky family. Judy Prinsler up early with the good morning. Appreciate that. Leah Keister says happy marvelous Monday. Michelle Moreno says good morning to everyone. I'm glad you guys are feeling like it's a marvelous Monday. That's what's up.
Yeah.
Yeah. How was your weekend, man? What's going on?
Pretty much the same. Just kind of working, trying to have that work-life balance. Make sure things are rolling. Excited, definitely getting closer and closer that website is coming. So big shout out to everybody who's been shopping, hitting the link that we've been posting. Big shout out to Sky Reed, the OG First Sky tees out. Yeah, they going out, man. People copping them. So again, big shout out to everybody who's supporting First Sky in that way. And I know people would love to keep us on here for 3 hours a day and have us on here more days of the week, but we're trying to do some different things, and we're getting very, very close to rolling it out. Also, big shout out to everybody who's been checking out the weekly rap newsletter. That's been going well. Been getting some good feedback on that. So yeah. Just making sure everything is everything. Of course, we had a conversation yesterday. Glad to be able to have some ideas to roll around. You know what I mean, and spitball on some things. And just excited about the future, man. That's really the focus, is making sure everything is going in that direction. And yeah, feeling excited. Of course, do some food on the grill yesterday. Ain't did that in a while, so that was nice to kind of kick back on a Sunday. But other than that, kind of uneventful. Just chilled out. Let us know if anybody else got anything done over the weekend. I'm hearing it's still unseasonably warm out there in Omaha, so
it's a little cool this morning.
Okay, this morning it's cooling off finally. But yeah, did you do anything over the weekend? Let us know. Did you make it to the Nebraska game? What's going on?
Yeah, yeah. Everybody's kind of hyped on the Nebraska game. Gwen
Yeah,
Easter gives us a good morning. I see you over there. Appreciate you coming on in. You reminded me of the content creator camp that we did. We got another one coming up
man.
in
Yeah,
2025 that we're working on.
on the way.
But came up with some ideas about some of the, especially some of the people that was participating in the content creator camp that passed. We definitely want to start reaching out, man, and start having some more meetings about doing some citizen journalism around town
Yeah,
and so on and so forth. So get ready, Gwen Easter, Mama God, everybody who was part of that that's in the chat this morning. We're definitely gonna work on some things coming up. We expanding the news, and you definitely are a part of it. So we appreciate you for participating in that. And then stay tuned for news for the new classes that are coming up in 2025. So
yeah, yeah, yeah. Again, a lot of exciting things in the works. So again, we appreciate all y'all support and the fam, man. We consider y'all the fam for multiple reasons, and the level of support that we receive from you is definitely one of them, kind of the main one. So yeah, big shout out to all our past content creators and future content creators. Yeah, definitely some things coming up. So yeah, 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 feeling good, feeling great, and enjoying this thing that we have, and everybody out there, let us know how you're feeling. Let us know what's going on with you. And yeah, yeah. Did anybody check out the AMAs, or what you got going on, Paul?
no, I didn't even know they
Okay,
existed. I worked.
man,
That was all that was going on with me. I didn't know. I didn't see nothing on TV. Nothing. I was just buried in. And if I wasn't doing that, I was knocked out. So it was one of them kind of weekends. Work, nap, work, nap.
man.
It is what it is. Sound like you, huh, Pops? That's Pops life right there, man. Get up and take a nap. Get up and do some work. Lay down, take a nap. Get up, do some work. I was
Hey,
acting like I was retired a little bit. That's
man,
gonna be
man.
my retired life too. So that's what's up. Ron's review says Jingle Jam, The Legend of Ice T, Chingona Fest. That's right.
Okay,
That's
okay.
coming up too. Man, I forgot about Jingle Jam. That's funny. So you got any of those kinds of old you got your CDs and stuff still of like the old the old school Ice T CDs and all that?
Man.
I did do that this weekend. I was tripped on a box that I had a bunch of CDs in it, kind of went through it like, well,
Tripped
let
on
me
it.
see what I got in there.
Man,
Yeah,
you finding classics?
old school. Yeah,
Take a
man.
trip down memory lane.
Absolutely. It's always a good idea sometimes to do that. I mean, it's too easy for us to just get on, Apple Music or whatever and listen to
Man,
stuff. But sometimes, man, you gotta break out them old CDs and look at the covers. Album cover too. I got a record player in here finally, so start pulling out some albums, get my record collection back tight
man. I mean,
and
it's
all
still
that.
it's still a percentage of the world's music that's not digitized and not on YouTube, and and you find those gems, gems,
Real.
gems. Yeah,
That's
yeah.
really real. Yep. I got a stack of 45s in the stores I need to go through. I know
Man,
I know haven't been digitized.
man, eventually, I think it will go back to like physical, copies and physical music, man. If anybody's paying attention to what's going on in the music industry, I don't know how deep y'all are in that, but yeah, yeah, some big changes. The technology, yeah, streaming, still
Yeah.
changing the game.
It's just gonna all the formats are gonna a lot of formats are gonna continue along with the digital. It's just the nature of it.
Yeah.
Marlon Harrison says my little cousin homecoming was this past weekend. I told him
Okay.
I felt sorry for his generation because when I was in high school, we went to IHOP and Village Inn after homecoming.
Man, man, that was a good feeling. I
Took it
remember those
back.
days. Taking it back, taking it back.
They don't get to
Everybody
go to
posted
Village
up.
Inn, huh? They don't go to IHOP no more.
Man, what do they do? I mean, I don't know, man. These kids, they go into Roost Chris and I go to the steakhouse. Man, you see, I know you've been seeing these homecoming pictures. They pull out the Maybach.
Man, what
Yeah.
around here?
All
I ain't
right.
seen none of that. That's
Yeah,
crazy.
yeah, yeah. Yeah,
Well,
it's
we
definitely some pressure nowadays.
we definitely going to talk about a lot more of that. Let us know if you were around this weekend, what you did this weekend. Like I said, we got the 7 o'clock hard start for the news, but we appreciate you guys getting up and giving us the hellos and how you doing, and we definitely want to hear about your week and about your day and all that good stuff, and find out what was going on with you this weekend and anything special. Did you hit Sherman Wells show last night on
Man,
Facebook? We got to talk about it. We got to talk about it. And with that said, it's 7 o'clock. If you believe in the concept of time, a fresh edition of First Guy Omaha in the morning,
in the morning.
happening now. Let's do it.
Hey.
What up? What up? What up? Chime in. Get ready to chime in for a fresh edition of First Sky Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
All B, myself, Buddy the God
Hey,
himself, you, the chat chimers, ghost listeners. We appreciate everybody joining us today on this Monday, October the 7th,
man.
2024. Well into October already. It's already starting to be cool. I make fun of folks that say as soon as it gets cool out here, you want to start pulling out the fall sweaters and everything else. But
Mhm.
I'm looking for my hoodie now and,
Man,
and
'tis the
drinking some
season.
pumpkin spice tea and I'm gonna make some chili tomorrow. So I'm right
Hey,
along with you now. As soon as the temperature drop a little bit,
man, I'm there for all of that except for the pumpkin spice. I don't know about
yeah,
the
I'm
pumpkin
just
spice.
joking
Yeah,
about
yeah,
the
yeah,
pumpkin. I
yeah,
don't know
yeah.
nothing
But
about
yeah, nice hoodie, some football, some basketball, some
that.
chili, some
Mhm.
soup.
Well,
Yeah,
today we got a little news and some things that we're going to talk about today for sure.
yeah.
So we appreciate everybody that's joining us today, and get ready to get your comments together. We can't wait to hear what you have to say about some of these things. We appreciate everybody that's put articles in Friends of First Sky Omaha, which is where we pull a lot of these things as well. A lot
Thank
of
you.
discussion, a lot of things happening over the weekend for sure. Sunday sermon with Sherman happened last night, and it was a huge one. Leo Lewis from Malcolm X Memorial Foundation was on, and they were talking about the things that are in the news that we've been talking about. The
Man,
killing of another black unarmed black man in Omaha, Nebraska, that we need to be talking about. There was some new evidence and stuff like that that they brought out on the sermon last night. So if you watched it, definitely get ready to comment on that. Let us know, and I will definitely hopefully hear from Sherman today as well. Did hear from Senator Terrell McKinney. He's usually on Mondays, but he had to be in Lincoln, so he will not make it today. So we're anticipating Senator Justin Wayne coming on this morning, but we also got another guest coming on from the city. Daniel May will be on this morning to talk a little bit about the new initiatives they have for training for the lead poisoning. That we're still working on trying to get the lead out of the land in North Omaha in a big way. So
man,
he's going to come on today and talk about that. So we got some special guests coming up and a little bit of community stuff that we need to talk about. Also some headlines. Man, let's go ahead and jump in, buddy. What's going on in the community today?
man. Yeah, lot to get into today. Several guests coming through, as Paul mentioned. But as you know, or maybe you don't know, we like to start off the show with some shout outs, give some community love, some things that may or may not be headlines on mainstream news, your channel threes and your channel sevens and major affiliate news channels, but it's news to us and things that we in our community definitely should know about. And definitely want to give a shout out to Sister Kimra Snipe for sharing this with us as always. Again, one Omaha doing the work, and Kimra always on top of things. It is voting season. Election season is upon us, and registration, I believe, is still open. So if you have not registered, or you know some loved ones who still need some coercing, if you will, just a little convincing, you might want to check out this Raise the Vote Summit that's going on October 12th. That's this weekend, the Saturday to be exact, 8:45 to 11:30 at the Swanson Conference Center. That's Metropolitan Community College, Fort Omaha campus. Again, the Swanson Conference Center. That's 5730 North 30th Street. But yeah, definitely check this out. Again, this is an information type of event, excuse me, to get people to connect, learn, and discuss the importance of voting in this critical election year. There will be candidates there for you to meet and greet and talk to. Also, a key ballot issues overview, election commissioner updates, and review of sample ballots, which is kind of huge. We haven't really talked about it. But the ability to kind of look at a ballot, have an idea of what it's looking like, maybe even fill out a ballot before you come in. Have the ability to do your research. We'll be talking about some of those things a little later on as far as the ballot initiatives. There's actually some public input opportunities for some of these things coming up. Also, some judges. Again, we talk about those judges. You go into that voting booth and you don't know about those judges, you never know, man. You might be putting in somebody that's not really aligned with your politics, if you will, in a very important seat. So yeah, get out, raise the vote, get some information. Definitely check this out. And we'll be talking about these things a little later on today in the show. So, again, big shout out to Sister Kimra, always spreading the information, always staying on top of things.
Yep,
Also, shout out.
shout out to the
Yeah,
Empowerment Network too for sure for putting this on.
yeah.
Definitely go to Friends of First Sky Omaha if you want to register. You got to register to go to this. So we'll put this in Friends of First Sky Omaha so you can hit that Bitly and go ahead and get your registered and show up to this event. Appreciate it.
Yeah, yeah. See the QR code at the bottom as well. So yeah, go ahead, check that out. Check that out. Also, when we spoke to brother Kasim, he was kind of talking about and giving up and bigging up, giving shout outs to the whole drill team situation in the community. And lo and behold, there's a drill team that actually might need the community's help. They're looking for money, finance to raise and replace some damaged drumline equipment. Need some new drums, need some new harnesses. Again, this destruction, the drill team actually serves at risk youth ages 5 to 18 years in North Omaha. And again, shout out to Mama God. She's always told me and told me stories and kind of taught me about the whole drill team community, the drill team culture in North Omaha. And of course, if you ever been to a parade in North Omaha, you know the drill teams get down, man. So yeah, shout out to those young folk. Again, Destruction Drill Team. If anybody's interested in checking them out and helping, you can check out the article. It is on Friends of First Sky. Also, it looks like they're preparing for a national competition in Minnesota later this month. So yeah, let's help these babies out. Go out there to Minnesota and represent in a real
And
way.
shout out to the chat chimers that have already done that. We saw that you commented on those posts saying that you clicked on it and you went ahead and donated and helped. So shout out to the chat chimers holding it down.
Yeah, man. Again, $16,000 they're trying to raise. So yeah, let's help them out. Let's help them out. Also, poverty elimination action meeting went down. I saw Sister Kimmer was there. Shout out to her for posting on Friends of. Just wondering, did anybody else make it? Again, we've been talking to Senator McKinney, who actually put forth the legislation that kind of put the pressure on Omaha, the city of Omaha, to put forth and kind of finally put together a poverty elimination action plan, and the opportunity for the community to kind of speak to that plan pass. So did anybody check it out? Did anybody make it? And have you been paying attention to what's going on with that? Because too often, again, things are happening around us, and we're like, "Hey, when did this happen? Who was at this meeting? Who made these decisions?" And when we have the opportunity to influence the decisions, we should take that opportunity. So again, shout out to Sister Kimmer for going to that, checking that out. And yeah, did anybody else check that out? Conversations that we definitely need to be having in our conversation or in our communities. Also, speaking of conversations that need to be had, the conversation about recalling Don Klein has been popping up. Actually, get him out the paint, as a few chat chimers have been saying. Again, a lot of actually viewers to this show have expressed, the feel like Don Klein needs to get up out of there, and we're all about solutions, all about actions, all about empowering the people. And there is a call. Shout out to actually Sherman and a brother. Anthony Rogers Wright for putting together kind of a sheet, a form, informational on how to get Don Klein out of there. So if that is something that you're interested in, check that out. Check that out. Again, it's all about call to action. It's all about moving and not just talking about what the problems are, but really working towards finding some solutions. Yeah, again, we have the power. We are enough. If only we can organize. Again, what's that post you're always putting out? Paul, we're not what was it? We're not out something. We're out organized.
Yeah.
Yeah, brother Malcolm. There we go. We're not
Not out
outnumbered. Yeah, we're out organized, brother Malcolm. And yeah, that's definitely yeah, still very very accurate today. So yeah, again, shout out to brother Anthony Rogers, Ryan, and Sherman Wells for putting that together. I see. Shout out to Sister Precious also in the chat. She says, "Who has the form? I want to sign that ASAP." Again, you can find that on Friends of First Sky Omaha on Facebook. Again, that's Friends of First Sky group on Facebook. And then also, man, Daedrion Morel is a name that we're learning about. I was not very familiar with, but definitely learning. And I urge everybody else to check him out and learn a little bit more as well. Omaha's own Daedrion has been making waves on The Voice. Yeah, as you see, but he is also making waves locally. He will be performing at the Holland coming up, I believe, this weekend. So if you haven't already copped your tickets, yeah, definitely check it out. See The Voice live and in person in action in front of you at the Holland. So again, the Holland gets down. Omaha Performing Arts, partners of ours, and yeah, we enjoy what they're doing, the shows that they're bringing, supporting local acts, local artists, and yeah, we're all about it. So we hope you're all about it too. I see a few chat chimers did say that they have bought some tickets. So yeah, check it out. Check it out this weekend, October 11th at the Holland. Adrian Morel.
Name to be looking for coming
Yeah,
up.
yeah. Did you catch him on The Voice? Did you?
Yeah, we posted a little piece on Friends of First Guy
Yeah,
Omaha,
yeah.
his performance. Yeah, definitely sounded good, definitely professional.
All right.
If he's on, if Omaha, if he's playing if it's the Omaha Performing Arts show that they're have him on, then that means his show's tight.
Yeah,
So,
yeah,
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 so
yeah.
shout out to them. Shout out to them for being on it too. Shout out to Omaha Performing Arts to be, up to date enough to see with the up and coming cats and giving them a break in their on their platform too. So that's what's up.
Yeah, yeah. All the timing is very serendipitous. So yeah, big shout out to OPA, big shout out to Daydreon, and a shout out to all of you for tuning in. Again, First Guy Omaha in the morning. We appreciate you for tuning in. Again, as if this is your first time here, or as you may know, we try to focus on the news here in the first hour, and then open up the chat for a conversation in the second hour. So again, thank you for tuning in and bearing with us. If you do have some input to add to the conversation, to add to the stories, I have some information that maybe not be reported in the stories. We'll definitely appreciate you to share that. But again, if you have any long diatribes or anything that's not necessarily being talked about that you feel like we should be talking about, maybe drop that into the chat. And yeah, we'll get into that in the second hour. In the meantime, between time, Paul B,
Yep,
what's the
yep.
word?
Man, just looking at the chat, seeing everybody chime in. We appreciate everybody's comments. Marlon Harrison a little earlier said after last week's CSAC and YouTube situation that took a lot of music off of YouTube, and a lot of people said they want to go back to physical CDs and records. Talking
Yeah,
about what
man.
you were doing a little earlier, so that's pretty interesting. Mama God earlier was talking about the babies and the homecoming. Said they dressed like they attending the BET Awards.
Man, I'm telling you, man. It's yeah, it's pressure nowadays. I
Yeah,
used to you'd be able to
yeah,
go to Sears get you a suit.
yeah, yeah. That's You talking a long time ago for that. Michelle Moreno said she worked and then went to the meeting at the church last night and watched sermon live last night too. So you're
Okay.
out and about
Okay.
participating in all of it. Really appreciate that very much. Maggie Miller Jenkins is reminding us 365 days of genocide. They're
Yes.
marking this as a year since Hamas attacked and the war started and everything that's been going on. 365 days of genocide has been happening. It's all over the news this morning that it's been a year since that first attack, and that's unbelievable, man. It doesn't feel like for us, it don't feel like it's been that long. I'm sure it feels like it's been forever for the people
Man.
that are suffering in a big
Right.
way.
Right.
Julie Prinzer says, "Hoodie on." It's that time of the year for
It's
sure.
the
I hear
season.
that,
Sleeves up.
man. Pop says, "Oh yeah, I do. I did do a worldwide interview over the weekend." Pops,
Wow.
what's up? What's up? You gotta let us know before it happens so we can big it up. What's going on? Pop's always doing some things, man. I'm trying to tell you.
Man, even after the fact, almost forgot. Like, oh yeah, yeah,
Oh, by
yeah.
the
I was
way, oh, by
I
the
was
way.
international.
Maggie Miller Jenkins said she watched the live. I did see a lot of the chat chimers on the live last night. I appreciate that very much, for sure. Anthony Rogers Wright expressing some of the sentiments that we feeling, man. As much as a pig as Macron is he's at least now calling on the world to stop arming the Zionist regime. Okay, not
Okay.
sure who, not sure what. Macron you talking about? Yeah.
Yeah, the president of France.
Right, right, right. Precious in the chat, good and early this morning, saying good morning. Appreciate you very much. Good morning, First Sky. Appreciate you coming on in. Jess Parker gives us a good morning as well. Appreciate that very much. She looks like Precious is gonna go see him homeboy perform this weekend, so that's what's up.
Yeah, yeah.
Holla.
Okay.
RG in the chat saying good morning, fellas. Said that Sherman Wells was last night was lit. Yeah, they were on
Man,
last night, big time, man. Big
man.
time, big time. Also, Magic Miller Jenkins says since the two murders, OPD released a recruitment flyer with qualified immunity as a bullet point in enticement to join the Klan.
Man.
Yeah, we were talking
Man.
about that last night, big time too on Sherman's show. Why do they put that on? I mean, on their advertisement to be a police officer now? There's like you also get qualified immunity, just straight up,
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
straight up,
You gotta know that's a part of the pitch.
man. Appreciate everybody's comments on this. Let's jump into some of the headlines that we're going to be talking about today as well, and can't wait to hear your comments on that. Like Buddy said, we'll definitely get into some deep dive conversation a little bit after the 8 o'clock hour. And don't forget, if you're just joining us, we have special guest coming in. Daniel May will be here from the city planning department. He's going to be talking about the new lead initiative, and also we're anticipating Senator Wayne coming through too if he can. Senator McKinney will not be able to make it today. He said he has to be in Lincoln, so we let him do his thing and hopefully hear from Senator Wayne today. But if not, you already know us. The conversation is going to continue
Man.
regardless. So, as with that said, what's going on today's top headlines, buddy?
Man, well, brother Anthony Rogers Wright is kind of bringing us right into it, talking about again the CD2 debate between Vargas and Bacon, and I am kind of curious. Anybody make that or check it out? That is going on. We are in election season. and hopefully be able to get to that a little later on. But we'll definitely love to hear your takes if you were able to make it. But it's not just Vargas versus Bacon as far as the races that we're looking at. Omaha World Herald also reporting on judges. Apparently, the next list of judges, actually 4 judges in total, vying to be the next Supreme Court Chief Justice. That list has rolled out. And again, we've been talking about it. Educate yourselves on who the judges are. Try to educate yourself really on how many things you're going to be voting on in general, not just all the races, but also some of the ballot initiatives, some of the issues, some of the city bond issues that are going on. Again, we want you to be as educated of a voter as possible. So again, we'll be getting into some of those other things as well, as far as some of the ballot initiatives. There actually be some public input opportunities for you to speak up and hear more about what these issues are that will be making their way to the ballot. Also, Omaha streets becoming a heavy topic of conversation. I've kind of mentioned it on the show. Several deadly accidents recently, a hit and run. Again, a very, very tragic situation where children even lost their life recently, and even more accidents. Again, no one has lost their life, but still very, very serious accidents. Someone actually sent to the hospital over the weekend. And yeah, conversations about travel. What is going on in Omaha's roads? How is travel being presented? Again, shout out to Sister Clarice Dombeck, who's also running for the Metro Area Transit Authority, kind of learning more and diving into the conversation about transit in the Omaha area. Again, might be a small conversation on the surface, but when you really think about it, again, how safe are these streets really? Also, speaking of how safe are the streets, of course, we're looking at and talking about what's going on with OPD. Shout out to Brother Sherman Wells for holding the Sunday Sherman with Sunday sermon with Sherman, excuse me, over the weekend. Of course, a lot of people in the chat talking about that, but also a few people mentioned it. Did you make it to the meeting at Claire Memorial? Also, shout out to Pastor P and all the people that were at that meeting as well. Again, the community in various aspects, various forums, speaking up and speaking out, and obviously hurting from the death of not only, again, Brother Cameron Ford, but also the 22-year-old young man that lost his life as well, Brother Phipps. Yeah. Again, a lot of conversation to be had about that. Actually, OPD did release some more details, finally releasing the video of that. So, of course, we'll be diving into that situation, and also some updates with the Inland Port Authority. So, again, a lot to talk about here on today's show. As always, if there's anything on your hearts and minds, feel free to drop that into the chat, and we'll try to get to that in the second hour when we have more conversation. But in the meantime, between time, Paul B,
Yo.
what say you, man?
Man, let's take a quick break and we'll come back and jump into some of these stories. Appreciate everybody joining us again. Can't thank you enough for getting up early with us and discussing some of these things. It is Monday, October the 7th. It is 7/8/19 right now. If you believe in the concept of time, stay tuned. Special guests coming up as well. And we'll take a quick break and come right back and dive in. You're listening to First Sky Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
All B, buddy the guy. Welcome back. First Sky Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
Yo, how y'all doing out there?
Hey.
Definitely love to hear from you. I really appreciate everybody's in the chat. Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Fuck you, stop. Okay, there you go. Mama Guy says, I went to the League of Women's Voters website to take a peek at my ballot. Many of the referendums that are confusing. I would love better understanding.
Man, thank you for that.
Appreciate that.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of times some of that stuff's in like double speak. You know what I mean? Like there's double negatives, and vote for this if you don't, vote yes if you want this not to happen, and the negative, and vote no if you're positive on. It can definitely get confusing. It can definitely get confusing, which is why we're trying to have the conversation beforehand. So But thank you for taking that initiative. Shout out to the League of Women's Voters.
Yep,
And
and
down.
we hear about anybody else that's going through all of the items, that's got some breakdowns. We'll definitely pull them on or let you know about it. But yeah, it's definitely a lot. And
Yeah.
I kind of was thinking last voting season that some of it ought to get broken up a little bit. Some folks go through the judges. We're doing our best to have most of the candidates on. And we had somebody on that talked about some of the ballot initiatives recently. So um, you know, no way that we're gonna be able to tackle all of it by the time the election happens. So it's definitely gonna be up to all of us individually to get the studying in and hip each other the resources. And if there's out there,
Yeah.
they can give us some ideas on some of these things as well. So appreciate that, Mama God, for bringing that up. Deborah Wright in the chat gives us a good morning. Good morning to
Hey.
you. Black Dynamite says good morning. Sorry I'm late. It's all good. It's all good.
Yeah.
Appreciate you. Michelle Moreno said that she went to the church last night, right? You said you went to the Pastor P's church. Did you say that?
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, love to hear what your from your words, how it was, what happened, how it felt. There's a lot of it. Oh, Precious gives us a quick guide in the chat too. She says, "Here's your quick guide." She put a link in the chat that you can hit and learn about some things as well. So appreciate that very much. Thank you, thank you. She says that Mama God says, yes, the negative is weird. The more you read, the more confusing.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's like about voting for it or against it. I don't know. So thank you for that, Precious. We appreciate that, and we will be getting into some of that a little later on. As I mentioned, there's actually a public hearing coming up about some of those ballot initiatives, so there might be opportunity to give some more information. But definitely want to dive into this, top of the news, top of the hour situation. And yeah, top of the mind, top of heart for a lot of people in the community. Paul, you've been kind of talking about it. A lot of people in the community have been talking about it as far as the shooting. And we want to go ahead and dive into that and spend as much time as we might need to, on this conversation because it is a conversation that obviously needs to be had. Here we are a month in, and two brothers have now lost their life um, to the police, lost lives at the hands of the police. And again, there's been a lot of, shootings, a lot of violence in the community, but it's particularly traumatizing when it's at the hands of the people who are supposed to protect. It's at the hands of the people who are supposed to serve. It's at the hands of the people who, as you have mentioned, with the qualified immunity that you can't really hold accountable, which is a different feeling. So I'll start with kind of the updates. This coming out of KMTV 3. Again, one of the hardest parts about these types of situations, especially for the families and loved ones of the deceased in these situations, reliving the situation or even living it for the first time, seeing the video, and again, you're not there when it happens. You only hear about it, but watching the video can be particularly hard. But Omaha police did hold a press conference or kind of mid last week, share some of the details on the officers involved in the shooting that took place September 28th. Again, evidence from security and body worn cameras was shared. Again, Officer Zendeas and Alex Atkinson were the individuals involved. They conducted a traffic stop Saturday evening. According to police investigators, Stephen Phipps got out of his car and ran away. Again, ultimately, a grand jury will determine if Officer Zendejas, who is the one who actually fired the shots, if his actions were lawful or not. And again, we've been talking about this whole grand jury process and who oversees it. Emphasis on the word oversee, talking about Don Klein. And again, learning that process. And here we are yet again watching it kind of go through the motion, if you will. As I mentioned, this is still a month, actually almost a month to the day after Officer Adamville shot and killed Cameron Ford, who was serving a no-knock warrant at the time. And Chief Schmaderer did share some thoughts about the situation, saying this is a tough time for the city on another front because law enforcement is involved in the loss of life of two of our citizens. He says, I take this extremely serious, and we are committed to our community to put this back into a stabilized form. Right now, it's very destabilized, understandably, and destabilized is a very interesting choice of word, but I think it is kind of accurate in many ways, and not just the relationship between the community and the police is unstable, but the community itself is unstable. Again, over the weekend, there were several meetings, several conversations. Again, some of you made it out, so we'll love to hear your takes on what happened, some of the conversations that were going on. As you see, a group of people here in Claire Memorial, which is led by Pastor P. A shout out to Pastor Portia Cabot and the work that she's doing. Not only that, but also a few police officers. Omaha Police was there as well. And yeah, I wasn't there, so I would definitely love to hear from people who were, just the kind of the feel of the room, the feel of the conversation, especially having community members and Omaha Police present. Shout out to Sister Sherry Thomas, who again is a deputy, kind of one of the highest ranking Black officers on the force, and shared her thoughts. Paul, what are your
Yeah, we,
thoughts?
we have somebody in the chat. Michelle Moreno says yes. A lot of people got up and spoke and made good points. She was there at the at Pastor
Mm,
P's meeting there. In respect to both families that lost their loved ones, I did have to leave early due to situation, but I will let Sherman speak on that. Yeah, and Precious in the chat also says this is a tragedy. I still can't understand why he was shot 8 times. If you watched the show last night, Sunday's sermon with Sherman, he talked about this, brother Leo Lewis, and showed the video that they released as well too. And it was definitely hard. They definitely stopped at one point because they didn't want to really show the actual murder that happened. But you could hear you heard the 8 shots in the video. It was even hard to hear. Like they might have showed it. I don't know. I can't look at that kind of stuff, so I kind of looked away.
man,
But
man.
I did hear the 8 shots, and yeah, it didn't seem like it seemed like um, it just is crazy. The new footage that they got released too is showing from the police cam. This is the reason. This is the reason why the police officer is saying that he's justified. He's justified in this because as this man is running away and trying to hop this fence and getting caught up in this fence, you can see the circle down there. They're trying to act like he was aiming the gun back at the police officer, and that's why he shot him. Which is, like Sherman said, this man is not Spider-Man. He can't. He's not. This is not the Matrix. He can't hang upside down and shoot at you. uh, you know, um, and so it's unfortunate. Obviously he did have a gun, but whether or not it was being pointed at the police officer is up for debate. They did a lot of great points last night on Sherman's show about some of the other run-ins that this particular police officer had, and that's kind of
Mhm,
the gist and point of that meeting as well. Kind of talk about that. What is who is this police officer, and will he be back in our area policing us again? They brought out some points, some times when this has happened in the past, and then people in the family who lost family members gotta see them people right back in our community policing us again. So
mhm.
yeah, they're still calling for some justice here in a big way. Shout out to everybody who joined Sunday's sermon with Sherman yesterday. I saw a lot of chat chimes in there. Appreciate you guys coming in there representing for sure. Precious says clarity. He shouldn't have never been shot at all. Yep. I mean, that's exactly that's what we're seeing in a big way. Anthony Rogers Rice says this is Walter Scott all over again, beyond sad. Also, lots of derelictions of duty, as you're not hearing too many, if any, candidates speaking about this. Instead, they're competing with each other to determine who is more police. Yeah, that's the point.
Mm.
It's definitely a point. Kimber says, "Good morning, y'all. Good morning. We
Man, top of
appreciate
the
you."
morning, sis.
Jahisha Baz in the chat. Good morning. Says,
Peace, peace.
they are criminalizing our existence in the environment of North Omaha to legally infer they justify killing us, commission of a crime. Yeah, that was the other thing that really stood out to me as well, is how much they're trying to really talk about the victim's past, the person who got killed, and how much of a criminal he was. And
Mhm,
already know how ridiculous it is for them to do that, because they're basically signaling it's okay to shoot him because he was a bad guy, he was a criminal. And shame on the media who perpetuates that story when it happens as well. Been happening big time, and that's another thing that's really messed up. So shout out to Leo Lewis for bringing up some incidents in the past where he got pulled over in the past. That's on record, where it was obvious that the man was scared by the time that they pulled him over this time, and the reason why he ran. But the police footage says a lot. The audio there says a lot. It didn't sound like they was repeating a bunch of commands. He was kind of like, "Why are you getting out the car, man? Why are you running?" And then no, not seconds later, 8 shots.
Mhm.
How you go from that kind of you know, that kind of expression. Apparently the police officer and the brother knew each other. You know what I'm
Yep.
saying? So
Yep.
there was a lot to it. I highly suggest you go back to Sherman Wells show on Facebook on Sherman Wells page and definitely see it again if you haven't seen the show. They brought out a lot of good points that you're not going to see in the news, and that's the reason
Mhm.
why we're all here doing this.
Man, man, yeah, a lot of good points, a lot of good conversations that we can actually spend the rest of the show, covering all the points that they made.
Yeah.
But one thing is jumping out that you mentioned is the criminalization and like the psychological profile, something that brother Leo Lewis was getting into, um, and the relationship between the police and that guest or that family really. I'm seeing some posts
Yeah.
about yeah, seeing some posts about the family saying that they have multiple members of the family have had run-ins with that specific officer. So yeah, definitely go
Oh,
ahead and check
I'm
out Sherman Show.
I'm sorry. I need to say that point too. There's another point. One of the reasons why they did this is because the police pulled up on the family after all this has happened. They just pulled up on the family here this recently too and harassed them. And Sherman and them happened to be down there and caught that situation and was there and
Mm,
kind of yeah. But they were yeah. So they were getting harassed. The family getting harassed even after one of their family members gets killed. So this is something that we are going to definitely continue to talk about. Please watch Sherman Wells' broadcast, and we'll definitely jump back into this after the 8 o'clock hour to have a little bit more discussion. I hate to rush everybody, but in the meantime, between time, we have a special guest waiting in the wings, and we're going to go ahead and bring him in. We want to be respectful of his time. So, without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, Daniel May is in the house from City Planning Department. Good morning. How you doing?
Good morning. Thanks for
good
having me.
morning.
I'm doing good. How are you?
Not
Doing all
bad,
right.
not
All
bad.
right.
Apologize. We kind of got into we were in a deep discussion right before you came in here.
Sure, sure.
As you can see, some things that the community absolutely needs to talk about. So it feels it's gonna feel funny shifting some gears, but we wanted to go ahead and bring you on anyway because this is another very important topic. We're definitely trying to
Yeah.
get the lead out of this land in a big way. So we appreciate you coming on and continued efforts to do that, especially in North and South Omaha. So first and foremost, how are you doing today? How you been?
I've been good. Yeah, and yeah, I really appreciate you guys helping us get the word out on this. It is important. It's been going on for a while, but it's still going, and so we're still trying to put that work in and help clean up Omaha. So I appreciate you guys helping us do that. So
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no
Yeah.
problem, man.
And I kind of actually want to contextualize this conversation in the conversation that we're having, because this is the work that the city is doing as far as the layer remediation is important to us because of some of the historical traumas that as a community we have faced. Redlining, a big
sure.
conversation in our community is redlining, and a big part of the history of redlining was again certain communities having lead and other things present in the soil and in the community. So the fact that again, finally, the city is doing some work to try to remediate that and reverse some of those damages, put it in that historical context. This is important work and important conversation. So thank you. I'll say that.
Right.
And
Yeah.
yeah,
Appreciate it. Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah, also, when we talked to you, we specifically have some campaigns going on in October because of some things that are happening in October. Could you remind me about what those things are that are happening?
Well, so yeah, October is uh, Children's Environmental Health Month.
Okay.
Um, and also the end of the month or the 20 through the 26th is childhood lead poisoning prevention week. So that's kind of a, it's sort of a big, October's a big month for us just to, kind of remind people that yes, lead is still an issue in Omaha and we're still uh, doing the work to try to, keep children safe from lead poisoning. So
Yeah, it's all
yeah.
about the babies, all about the kids
Yep.
this month in a big way. So that's and it really when it comes down to it, when we hear about some of the things that happen to you if you are exposed to lead poisoning growing up, how that can affect your growth and your schoolwork and all these health things that happen to kids. It's really important for the kids, even more so than for the adults a lot of times. So I appreciate that there's a month that is a lot of activities going on, really helping the babies out on this particular thing here. It's still a
Yeah,
pretty
man.
dangerous situation. One thing that I learned in the process here is when you talk about remediation. So first of all, you guys can go out and test people's land and find out if there's lead there, and if there is, you can pull that out. It's called remediation, where they get rid of the lead. Really, what you're doing is like replacing soil when that happens, right? Is it soil that comes from somewhere else, or how does lead remediation even work?
Yeah, sure. So I will say, like, just to uh, begin with, if anyone it lives in Eastern Omaha, if you go to omahaled.org, you can check you enter your address, and it will tell you if your property has been tested. And if it hasn't, and it's eligible, you just give us a call and we'll do it. I will say, to begin with, all of our services are 100% free. It's paid for by the EPA Superfund, so there is no cost to the homeowners. Um, but yeah, so what we do is we come out, we test all areas of the yard. We divide it into 4 quadrants, and we test each quadrant individually. If any quadrant is test high for lead, then what we do is we remove 4 inches of soil, and then test. And if it's still high, we keep going down as far as 12 inches. But all of that soil gets removed and gets it goes through a test to make sure that it's not going to leach into the water.
Mm,
But then it does, if it passes that test, it does go to the landfill. Um, and then we bring in clean soil that we have tested. It has to be below 100 parts per million for lead. I mean, there's lead is naturally occurring, so it's, there's always going to be some levels of lead, but we test to make sure that it's not high. And then we bring that, lay that soil down, bring it up back up to grade, and then we put uh, lay sod, and then water for 30 days to make sure the sod establishes. So
make it back pretty again.
yeah, 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 and I will say, so like, the city's been doing this since 2016. The EPA was doing it before that. It's very important to us that people are happy with the finished product. We want people to, like, have a good lawn.
Hmm.
So our construction folks do work really hard to make sure that the people that we're doing this for are not only going to be lead safe, but also going to be happy with the way their yard looks when we're done.
End
So
result, right. I think a lot of people in our community were a little nervous that their yard was just gonna get
yeah,
tore up and you guys leave it, and
yeah.
it kind of proved that that's not the case with you with how you guys do things now, so appreciate that. But before even all of that happens, is there something that homeowners can do, people can do, that would, to find out if there's some lead there, or I mean, just is there anything that can be done, to make sure the kids are safe is in particular?
Yeah, so I mean, yeah, I'm kind of a broken record, but definitely go to omahaled.org and look at your address and see what has been done. And then there are also, the Douglas County Health Department Lead Poisoning Prevention Program has other aspects of what they do. Like, if you have children under 7 in your home, your home was built before 1978, they will come out and do a free lead inspection.
Mhm.
Uh, it, in the home, looking
For
at,
for, like, lead paint and stuff like
right,
that on the
right,
actual home? Okay.
yes, yeah. And the city also has a lead hazard control program that, I mean, there's various things that you may or may not qualify for, but you can always give me a call at our number of 402-731-3045, and I can uh, pass you on to the person who administers that program. But yeah, so there are a lot of resources available for people, not just the soil, but lead paint and things of that nature. Yeah, sure.
I'm glad you reminded me about that, because I definitely forgot about that. It's not just about the yard. It's also about any kind of paint that's too much paint or too much lead. Any lead that's too much in the environment, including the house. A lot of old houses were painted with lead paint, and I used to be a painter, and so there was times when I had to go scrape paint,
Hmm.
scrape the surfaces to get ready for new paint. And I remember having to get hazmated up, really,
Yeah.
to do it, because you don't want to be breathing in the lead that you're scraping off the side of the house. That's definitely, and of course, in North Omaha, there's a lot of historical homes there. A lot of homes, a lot of
Yeah.
older homes, and with the oldest homes in the city are in North Omaha. So you're gonna run across that a lot. Is there something that you guys do, just like you do the remediation for the land? Do you have crews come out and get lead paint off of, or lead off of paint and stuff like that off the house, or is that something that goes to an outside contractor?
Yeah, so we for our program, if a home does test above our action level, we also do an exterior paint assessment. So we look at the paint on the outside of the home, and to your point, there are about 84,000 homes in Omaha that were built before 1978, which is when they banned lead-based paint. And so, we have a lot.
Yeah.
Not all of them are in our focus area, but yes, the majority are in Eastern Omaha for sure. The older home, housing stock. So when we test a property and it tests high for lead in the soil, we do that exterior lead-based paint assessment, which we kind of uh, look at the paint on the exterior of the home. Does it have lead? If it does, is it deteriorating? And if so, then we do a stabilization, which means we remove the like chipping, peeling lead-based paint and then paint over it with latex paint. That's not a permanent solution, but it
Mm.
kind of helps people for a few years at least with that issue. Uh, yeah, like I said, the lead hazard control program that the city also runs, which is separate from my program, but that does address some of those lead-based paint issues. And
Mm.
again, there's a different requirements for that, but and you have to have children under 6 years old in the home. But
Okay.
as you said, yeah, all of the programs are address or set up to address children. Yeah, like that's
Right.
what we're worried about, So yeah.
A couple questions from the chat. Good ones too. This may not be your department either, but does this program also cover lead pipes? Can we find out where lead pipes are still in service?
Right. Yeah. So MUD actually is rolling out a program to address lead service lines. So that would be uh, the pipe going from. So MUD doesn't have any of or all of MUD's pipes are lead free. They don't
Mm.
have any, but there are lead service lines, which is the line that goes from MUD's pipe to your home.
Mhm.
There are a lot of older, especially homes built before 1940. There are a lot of those lines that that do have lead or made of lead, and so they've secured some federal funding. There's like quite a bit of funding from the federal government to help replace those things, and they are right now uh, just basically kind of trying to identify who has those lead service lines
Mm.
and then help people and so I guess I mean the best thing is if you just Google MUD lead service lines. They do have a website where you can look up your address to see if you do have a lead service line, and then if you do, you contact them, and they will kind of like right now they're sort of like putting together a list of people that are eligible for this funding. So,
Okay.
and we are my office. We do work because we're tearing up people's yards anyway.
Right.
Like if we're gonna tear up their front yard, well, let's contact MUD and let's do it all at once, right?
Might as well
So,
check the pipes at the same
right,
time. Yeah,
sure,
that's exactly what I was thinking. I was like, if they, I was like, they're going to tear up the yard twice, and
right,
now we got to make sure MUD plants it back and makes it pretty.
right.
Rome's reviews is actually a really good question as well. He says, "Is your office hiring? What are the qualifications for interns volunteering?" Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So, we currently we're not hiring, but I will say we did last year. The EPA through the EPA. So the Omaha lead site is a Superfund site, as I said, um, and
Super
the EPA.
fun, not super fun. Right.
Superfund, yes. uh, the EPA has what they call a Superfund job training initiative,
Mhm.
and they did a program here last year where it was about 3.5 week program for people who are looking for training and job opportunities. We had, I think, 25 people. It
Mm.
went through the program where there was lead training, OSHA, HAZWOPER, like a lot of things that people need to do the work that we do. Um, and at the end of the training, the people went through it were certified in all these different programs. Uh, Next year, the EPA is looking, and next spring, the EPA is looking to do that again. Um, and they were very happy with the result. And I think, I think talking with the people who went through the program, I think it was a very valuable experience. And so, yeah, so we're excited to do that again. And I would just say, basically, if you are interested in that, keep an eye out. It'll be on, the cities, or on the lead registry at omahalead.org, other city websites, social media. I would just say, kind of keep an eye out for that. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll definitely spread the word if we get wind of that. We're always looking for opportunities for people in our community to get job opportunities and also training opportunities, contracts, and all
Sure.
kinds of good stuff. If it's happening in our neighborhoods, we'd love to be a part of working in our neighborhoods with that. So
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, appreciate that very much. Those are all the questions that I have, and I want to
Actually,
defer to Buddy. Uh huh.
yeah, yeah. Speaking of that, there was one more question in the chat. Did want to get to as well, as far as contractors.
Oh yeah.
Jahi Shabazz says, "I've done lead remediation. How do black contractors get involved? It seems like we went back to having out of town contractors, mostly Indians and people not from the state. So, are you working with local contractors? Is everybody kind of working for the city, or how does that work?"
Yeah. So I would say, if you are, y- if you're interested in doing this work, and you are trained, because anyone who works, like Paul, as you said, like if you work with lead-based paint, you do have to have certification through the
Hmm.
EPA.
Mm.
And that's, like, it's doable. But I'm just saying, if you are interested in that and you are qualified, you are certified, just give us a call. I mean, so currently we have, like, soil work. We have three contracting firms who are doing the work.
Mm.
But we do have our own uh, city process for certifying people, just to make sure that they can do the work.
Hmm.
But we're always, I mean, we're happy to work with anyone. If we the goal of our program, and the goal of all the lead programs in the city and the county and the state, are to keep people safe. So if you can help us do that, please give us a call. We're happy to work with anybody, as long as you are certified. And if you are, that's great. Like, we just want to help, keep our kids safe, basically.
Yeah.
So
And I will say you guys are very responsive when it comes to working with groups like us, outside groups to contract with, to get the word out, to get the work done, so on and so forth. So I'd highly I encourage everybody who does have a business, or wants to be a contractor, to get a hold of you guys. So yeah, appreciate that very much. Yeah, and again, I'm glad these are all I had like in my mind what we were going to talk about, and then I thought, oh, these are some great questions here that I keep forgetting to go back over about the process and so on and so forth. I want to pull up a graphic that you guys sent over here. This is a training session coming up. Would you like to talk about the training session coming up?
yeah, thanks for bringing that up. Yeah, so we do have a training session on Saturday, October 26th, from 11 to noon at the UNO Community Engagement Center. So it's kind of, like, we're kind of targeting childcare providers, but everyone is welcome. It's just, childcare providers are eligible for one continuing education unit from the state of Nebraska. So it's basically just, it's us and the Douglas County Health Department. Um, it's a little bit about, background about lead, but also just letting people know the resources that are available to people to help keep kids lead safe. There are, for i- uh, daycare and childcare providers, there are some things that they need to be aware of, or they should be aware of, and then we're happy to let them know. Um, yeah, so yeah, it's again, it's free. If you register, there's lunch will be provided. We just, again, it's just another way to try to get the word out about lead, and what people can do on their own, and what the city can, and the health department can help people do to keep kids safe.
Very cool. Got very pretty excited about this. We have some childcare providers in the chat that are friends of First Sky Omaha. So shout out to Erica Felt and Sunita Budai and a lot of the people, Gwen Easter, a lot of people that are into childcare. This is something that I really wanted to make sure that you guys got to see, so that you can be a part of this as well. Definitely check it out. It's again, it's Saturday, October 26th, so it's coming up. We'll remind you, and we're going to blast this all over our social media too, and on Friends of First Sky Omaha. So you'll see the flyer. You can hit that QR code at the bottom there and register. And you see there's phone numbers in there if you have any questions and so on and so forth. So I highly suggest you go ahead and check this out. The more knowledge, the better, of course, for any of these things, especially if you have a business where you got kids playing around outside and stuff like that. Kind of got to know what's going on here. I'm quite sure that the Chad Chimers, who are childcare providers in our First Sky Omaha fam here, are up on all of this already. But it's always good to get reminder or get some new information if there is some. So definitely check this out. Like I said, I'll put this in Friends of First Sky Omaha right away, so you can know where to go on this one. Yep.
Yeah,
So
thank you guys so much for helping us get the word out. I really appreciate it.
yeah,
Yeah,
no
yeah,
problem,
yeah,
man.
no problem. Yeah,
Thank
I mean
you, thank
it's
you.
affecting us all, so yeah, appreciate it, appreciate it. You guys doing the work, and getting rid of it.
Big time, man. Well, we're not going to hold you. I know that you got the people to take to school and all kinds of stuff going on over there. So we're going to go ahead and let you go ahead and go as well. So I really appreciate you taking the time this morning and coming on. We'll have you or somebody else from your department back again to talk a little bit more about what's happening as it comes. And any material that you have, please let us know. Throw it. We'll put it in Friends of First Sky Omaha for all of our Chad Chimers to check out. And yeah, we'll just keep the conversation going until we get every last drop of lead out of every yard.
Yeah,
Yeah, I appreciate it. Thanks so much.
thank you.
Right on, man. You have a good day.
All right, you too. Thanks.
Peace. All
All
right, Daniel
right,
May,
yeah,
taking the
yeah,
time.
yeah,
I appreciate that.
yeah. There you go. Yeah.
Yeah,
So if you haven't already, check out your address, hit the websites, make sure everything is all right.
that'll work. Well, let's take a quick break. I hear little mama back there saying,
Yeah,
she's
yeah,
trying to get on the mic.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. We'll be right back. Again, you listen to First Guy Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
I'll be, but to God, stay tuned. We
Hey.
still got special guests coming up and more to talk about in the 8 o'clock hour. First Guy Omaha is going down. Stay tuned. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. Where'd he go? Welcome back. Welcome back. You just seen the First Guy Omaha in the morning. In the morning. Little mama must got him tied up real quick. Peyton Zada in the chat saying good morning. Appreciate you. Thanks for coming around, coming back. Anthony Rogers, right? You said the lead paint tastes like candy. I didn't know that. Lead paint chips. Man, really, you got to keep them away from the kids. So I appreciate you giving us that little bit of information. I had no idea. So yeah, extra dangerous for little ones. So I'm appreciate them with their efforts trying to get people out of that for sure. Bronze Reviews, I just saw that you had a question about only for East Omaha and what is not considered East Omaha. I'm sorry, I missed your question there. I didn't see that. We'll find out some of that. We'll find out as much as we can on that. But I'm going back in the chat a little bit and just seeing some of the comments that are happening here, especially about what was going on with the gun laws and so on and so forth. Mama God was saying, I was afraid that once gun laws allowed us to carry, the police would use that excuse more. Brother Sherman was reminding us that was kind of what Brother McKinney's fear was as well. What
Mhm.
he was trying to warn people about. this is happening because even though the laws have changed and you have to have a permit and stuff to have a gun, a lot of people have them, but it's a different situation if you're black and have it, and if you're driving around North Omaha and have one. So it's a different situation. The way that they, we the law don't mean much when it comes to that.
Yeah.
Um, Also, Jahish Shabazz says he was at the church, Pastor P's meeting. He says, "At the church, I called on all the men to place value on our lives. We have to apply what the Black Panthers did and monitor the neo-Nazi psychopaths in our community and have them removed."
Yeah.
Um, One thing I did during the show was I've been passing this thing around. There's a book that I found that I had never seen before by a writer named D. Hilliard. I'm gonna pull it right now, put it in the chat. This is a book about the Black Panthers and all of their programs,
Man.
and
Heavy.
I've never seen a book that had it all listed out like that, all their programs. Here's a link to it where you can read it for free online, and it's a PDF. You can download it if you want to and just have it. But as I'm going through these programs, it's kind of blowing my mind about, we all know about the programs that they put together to monitor when people get pulled over.
Mm-hmm.
And they're not going to let this all started the Black Panther Party for protection, for self-defense was kind of the name of the whole name. And and it all stemmed from they were tired of the police brutality, so they were patrolling, and when they saw somebody get pulled over by the cops, they got out and they witnessed. They got out with their firearms. They held it down.
Mm-hmm.
And but I knew about that program, but didn't know about other ones, about stuff like some of the older women in the community that had to walk home from the bus or walk home from work. They had whole programs that helped walk them home, get them home safe,
Full
because they
community
was out there
program.
getting right. They were out there getting mugged, and the police was not protected and serving. So they had to go ahead and put a program together to help their mothers and grandmothers get home. So it's just a lot of good examples about programs that they decided that we will take care of it then, since the people who are supposed to take care of it are not.
Mm-hmm.
And we definitely need to get back to that in a big way.
Man. Man. Yeah.
So,
Among other things. Yeah, definitely appreciate you for dropping that into the chat. We talked about that, looked through that book. Very powerful book. And there's no need to reinvent the wheel. There's a lot of answers that are already out there. A lot of things that are already out there. We just gotta study them, learn from them, and implement. But yeah, something has to be done. Something definitely has to be done, and it's upon the community to do it. We got to take it in our own hands, because yeah, the quote unquote powers that be aren't, and actually seem hell bent on doing the complete opposite. So yeah, yeah. So
big time. Yep.
here we are.
Appreciate all your comments. Definitely check this book out, Black Panther Party Service to the People programs.
Yeah.
List it all out, man. Check it out. And like I said, that link is in the chat. Go ahead and hit that. You can just read it online or you can download it as a PDF. But I would definitely highly encourage to check that out. Everybody should be seeing that.
Yeah, and then I mean, you kind of, without getting too deep into it, maybe we can revisit this in the second hour. But you kind of just, man, open my mind, or just reminded me of like how we got to where we are today. I don't know if you, speaking of the Black Panther Party, I don't know if you're familiar with the documentary Bastards of the Party, which is a documentary that talks about how the youth, the young black men specifically, that were getting this military mindset, getting this discipline, getting this education, and once the leaders of the Black Panther Party were murdered and arrested and basically done away with, all the young folk that were um, following that and still had that energy kind of turned into gangs. You know, yeah, that energy was still present, and it was just kind of not directed correctly. And then you add drugs into the community, which we don't have boats, so you can kind of guess where the drugs came from
Man,
for
we don't got
yourself.
planes.
Yeah, we don't got boats and helicopters in the hood. So how the drugs got in the hood, I'll let you figure that out for yourself. But add that to the mix, and here we are. Here we are. So again, just think about that. We'll probably bring that back in the next hour, when we dive into deeper conversation. But I did have a story that I wanted to dive into. That's all right.
We can, but it just let people know it is 8 o'clock right now, so we are actually in the
In
next
a
hour.
second. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
second
Okay.
hour
Okay.
of
Okay.
first Sky Omaha in the morning. So appreciate you guys staying with us. We'll definitely continue to have some conversations here for the rest of the show. and revisit some of the things that we were talking about, but also bring up some new articles too that we didn't get to. And by the way, we're still anticipating Senator Wayne coming on. Senator McKinney could not make it today. He said he had to be in Lincoln. So if you're anticipating him coming on, just letting you know that. But in the meantime, between time, buddy, what's the story that you got on top of your mind right now?
Yeah, yeah. Wanted to dive into some development things. Actually, some things that's going on in the community and within the context of what I just said. How do we combat some of the things going on in the community? How do we reverse, this direction that the community seems to be going in, and through conversations, especially with the senators Justin Wayne and Terrell McKinney, put some respect on their name. Economics, and even looking at the Black Panther Party, a lot of their things were economic based and making sure that one that the basic needs are met, but beyond that, a lot of industrial a lot of industriousness
Mhm.
from the Black Panther Party, and that is what the community needs: innovation, industry, jobs, opportunity. And that's kind of what this whole Inland Port Authority hopefully will represent, especially now that they're talking about this innovation hub, which is something we've been speaking to Senator McKinney about and Senator Wayne about, something that they are working to bring to the community. And now the conversation is jumping out. Nebraska Examiner is reporting on this. The Omaha Inland Port Authority has turned their attention kind of away from the business park conversation and now turning towards an innovation hub, or what they're calling an innovation district, which is set for about $30 million. The actually This is coming from state law, which passed this year, and directed the 30 million to the Omaha Port Authority to fuel creation of an innovation district. In the 4 months since the entity's governing board was installed, it has been, however, busy, especially dealing with again the business park situation, and now its own startup activities, as well as controversial business park. So again, finally getting to the innovation hub, something that we've been asking about for some time. And what does this mean? Again, the apologize. According to reports recently submitted, the iHub has raised about 2.4 million in capital for businesses and enrolled 78 entrepreneurs in its program and helped 59 grow revenues. 59 other entrepreneurs grow revenues. The Omaha Innovation Connection Hub, in its report, is said it has delayed programming but has raised about 3 million. Brooks, or brother Trevin Brooks, said in an interview that his team has been busy building partnerships and investors. He said more than 80 billion, with a B, 80 billion in federal funds are expected to be distributed in coming years for iHub's activities across the country, and his team is building a foundation for some of those funds to come to the Omaha area. Brooks did go on to say, Omaha needs to be in the game and put our hands in the air. Again, Brooks said that they are excited to hear the Port Authority board discussion, as iHubs in places like Kansas City, here in Atlanta, Des Moines, and St. Louis have already taken off. So again, this isn't something that's kind of being built from scratch. There are successful examples and formulas out there already. And again, the senators and a few other individuals trying to bring that to the Omaha area. Again, this is something that could be exciting. I'm feeling excited about it. Again, an opportunity, especially for entrepreneurs, young folk, to kind of make a new life for themselves and their families. What say you?
Well, I think any kind of business innovation is only going to work if the people who are in the area who that it's happening in is involved.
Mhm.
It can be contractors and can work and so on and so forth. We still need to do what we need to do for ourselves, and maybe we can utilize this area to bring some economic growth to the area as well. Provide some work and so on and so forth. But in the grand scheme of what's going on, I think it's going to take a lot more than that. But I think I'm kind of excited too about uh, the fact that there is going to be some innovation, but still a little bit skeptical about like what it's going to mean for the area. That's the first thing I go to too, is like what's this going to mean for North Omaha though in general. Like people going to start gentrifying it faster and moving in quicker so they can get closer to some of the jobs that are happening there. What's really going to end up happening for to the area anytime any big changes like this is going to be made. That's the question. So so that's always going to be the question for me. There's I was looking to see if there was I thought I saw a comment there. Oh, yeah. So as far as the Port Authority is concerned, that's where I go with it. I still go, Glad to see that there's going to be some innovation. Hopefully, there's going to be some growth and change, but only if the people in the surrounding areas can be affected by it by some kind of higher economic situation, opportunities to get out of poverty, opportunities to get some work, and not have to leave the area to do it. So
Yeah, ideally that's what this is supposed to be. So yeah, we'd definitely love to speak to the senators to get more information from the source as far as how to get involved with this iHub once it's started, how businesses can apply and things like that. But yeah, let's not let our skepticism stop us from taking advantage of the opportunity, because it's coming. The money's coming, so
there
get
you go.
ready. Yeah, it's coming one way or another. So somebody's gonna take advantage of it. Let's make sure it's us, and that starts with information and knowing about it. So definitely look more into the Port Authority if that's something that you're interested in. And then also kind of connected to that, I did want to point out another. Apparently, this is coming out of KETV 7, another manufacturing facility. Speaking of job opportunities and opportunities to kind of change your life and have some economic opportunities, I guess. Again, this is being reported that Pacific Engineering held a ribbon cutting ceremony for its new manufacturing plant in North Omaha, which is news because we have seen many plants come to the Omaha area, but not many to the North Omaha area. There's been data centers and Facebook centers and Google centers and other large facilities being put up in other areas. But again, something coming to North Omaha. So to your point of being able to work and not necessarily have to take a bus, train, and plane to get to work and leave the community, there might be opportunity for that. State and local leaders said that this will bring long-lasting careers to the area and make Nebraska a leader in military manufacturing, which is always, unfortunately, money coming through that. Councilwoman Juanita Johnson said the new 52,000 square foot manufacturing facility will help close a gap in North Omaha, saying this project represents new jobs, new opportunities, and most importantly, a renewed belief in the potential of our neighborhoods. The company manufactures military equipment like missile launching systems. So, yeah, so jobs, not the best product to be producing, but jobs.
I'm not even gonna get in on this. Man,
So, you can either go to the iHub and become an entrepreneur, create your own job, or build missiles.
there's so much to it. There's the
I mean,
first
it's a
we
second hour. Go ahead, boy.
the first we hear about it is I just get a video last night about it and seeing Juanita Johnson, Councilwoman Juanita Johnson, puts respect on her name, up, you know, talking about it. It's happening. We have no inclination or no word on it on this coming before that, before it's already here.
Mhm.
That's number one for me. And then we ain't got to even talk about like what are exactly we're manufacturing. That's what we're gonna be manufacturing out of North Omaha. That's the jobs we need to. Anyway, man. Like I said,
It's
it's
jobs.
yeah, yeah. Like here's Anthony Rogers, right? Weapons to send to Israel. Yeah, that sounds great. Yeah, I'm glad we're gonna have a piece of. I'm glad. Hope we're. Anyways, man. I'm gonna go back into the chat because I literally,
Yeah, I guess
I literally don't have nothing. It's not. That's not good news for me. It's not good news.
see your blood boiling, Paul. See your blood
Ridiculous, man.
boiling.
It's ridiculous. They can't think of nothing else. Just it's ridiculous,
We
man.
can't get the Google, and the Facebook data centers, but we can
I'm gonna
build
go
the
back to this. I'm
bombs.
gonna go back to this. I put this book in the chat. Anthony Rogers Wright brought out. It was forwarded by Dr. Cornel West, who is running for president right now. He's on the
Yes.
ballot. It's going down.
Yeah.
So we will talk about that because the election is coming up. But I did put a link in the chat to that book if you can have it for yourself and check it out. Jahi Shabazz in the chat says it is the man's responsibility. The Black Panthers were very successful with all their programs. That's why the federal government came after them. We need to implement the same programs. I will get with Sherman and many others for action plan. That's one.
Yep.
That's what I'm
Yep.
saying. That's what I want to hear. I love it.
Yep.
Appreciate that very much. Anthony Rogers Wright is reminding us that it was also women in the Black Panther Party that was making things happen at the same time. Black Panther Party was 60% Black women, so I think that this is responsibility of all Black people, regardless of gender, sexual orientation, class, etc. Puts a reference in there too, a link to check out some information there. We've seen a whole lot of documentary films and read enough about the Panthers to understand like the role of the whole community that was there. That's kind of what it is all about. Anyway, we can't do it without each other. Anyway, it's it's our responsibility as black folks to kind of organize and get together and take care of our own. The thing about it is for taking care of your own situation. That's what I'm talking about.
Mhm. Mhm.
We can still in one hand still be hollering about what is supposed to be happening with our tax dollars and so on and so forth, but at the same time, on the other hand, we need to be handling it ourselves, not expecting that anything's going to change, because historically it hasn't. Where
Yeah.
are we getting our evidence from that's ever going to be different than when we put something together ourselves? Just don't know.
Yeah.
Also, Mama God is asking a great question for us journalists. What are the Nebraska laws on distance required when filming the police?
Mm.
Those laws, I remember, have changed over the past few years. Excuse me, and I can't speak on what the changes were at this moment. I got to look that back up. But it's always a good question to ask. We got to know our rights. It reminds me of the Black Panther Party, who Huey P. Newton, who had his degree, was definitely like, I know the law top and bottom. I can read the law, I can recite the law to you. Knew more than the police knew about the law,
Mhm.
and knew what his rights were, and knew what they could do according to the law. So it's always good to figure out what needs to happen, and so on. So,
Yeah.
um, Peyton Zyla, who we know has been out Freedom Summer, really as a journalist as well, with his camera out showing stuff. He's telling Mama God, I don't think there are any laws against filming police. Vaguely remember that there's a little bit of a change on that, a distance law. That
Mhm.
something happened where you can't stand as close as you used to be able to stand. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. Peyton Zyla would know more than me, because he's the one that's been out there with his camera, doing the good work, especially during Freedom Summer. So I appreciate that very much. Also, RG is saying in the chat, looks like the Pacific Engineering outfit is based just south of Lincoln.
Mm. Okay.
Okay, interesting. Also, Peyton Zyla is saying, funny how we just learned about something that's now already in our community. That's what I'm saying.
Man,
What I'm saying.
ribbon cutting. It's already done. It's a done
Would
deal.
would we have protested about having a weapons company come to our what I'm saying?
Most likely. Most likely.
So
I
I sit
mean,
quiet until we do it. And
yeah. Just had what the chemical fire out here in Atlanta. They just had the Knox chemical fire in Omaha. So yeah, we should. Yeah, the community should probably know about what kind of plants are coming to the area.
well, here's some information on Anthony Rogers Rice says more 411 on the proposed weapons of death job program in North O. Weapons of death and destruction manufacturing, be a part of that. Imagine Miller Jenkins says, can we talk about taking a 10K per donor to have roundtable talks with him at the mansion?
No, I haven't heard about that. Yeah, if you got the link, drop that in the chat.
You said just read the article this morning, man.
Yeah, if you got the link, drop that in the chat. And I scoured just about every news outlet last night, this
Man.
morning. You let me know.
Anthony Rogers Price says, no, we wouldn't have protested. We wouldn't have had nothing to say. He says, because too many of our leaders are already saying how it would be good for Ukraine. This is where Dems and Republicans can agree on war. Shake my head.
Mm.
Yeah, I was thinking about that too. Like Councilwoman Anita Johnson, how many times do we see her out and if there's just out in general, just being a part of any announcements that way. And here they are, like our leaders did know about this. They I mean, they had to be a part of the reason why it's here. So you're right. Might have not have said nothing about it. But um he said, here's the ribbon cutting article via KETV. I appreciate you putting that link in the chat as well. Shout out to Wanda Lewis also, who put some information, Friends of First Sky and other places on this subject. I don't like I there's nothing for me to say on this except for it, personally, I don't like the fact that we have that. We're gonna have we're perpetuating that. I'm not
Mhm.
about it. Not about it. Jess Parker in the chat, she's on it. Went ahead and put a link to the round table, $10,000 plate round table situation. Looks like Omaha Journal Star put that out there. Pillin Round Table fundraiser. So this is a fundraiser for his campaign too, I'm sure. Well, I wonder what he's raising funds for. That's a good question. What is the fundraiser for at $10,000 a pop? And what are they
Man.
talking about? Lots going on there on that. We appreciate everybody's comments here. Anthony Rogers Wright says on Friday, State Senator Justin
Yeah,
Wayne. Go ahead.
I was just gonna read that. He's quoting the article.
Mm,
Speaking of leaders who was aware of this, apparently, senators Wayne and McKinney and Vargas were aware of this and kind of a part of it, I guess. As Anthony Rogers Wright quoted in the article, it says on Friday, State Senator Justin Wayne celebrated the future job growth as a fruit of his labor. He was a key in passing the legislation to make this facility possible, along with State Senators Tony Vargas and Terrell McKinney. Wayne said, "Seeing this today as I'm terming out, I knew all the work wasn't for nothing." So yeah, apparently Wayne and McKinney and Vargas were a
about it.
part of this, and yeah, again they have been talking about, and that's kind of the catch 22 that I'm going over in my head, because we recognize and have been talking about, like, yeah, we need jobs in the community and we love manufacturing in the community, and we get it, but it's making bombs for death, for most likely genocide on the other side of the world. um so yeah, yeah, kind of mixed feelings. I definitely understand, where everybody's coming from,
It's not
and
mixed feelings for me. I'm not with this. I'm with the job growth. I'm with
right,
bringing
right.
bringing industry here into the neighborhoods and so on and so forth. Not exactly with this particular thing.
Hmm.
That's all I'm saying. There's plenty of other industries and things that can happen here, and that's not. Yeah, I don't know. Marlon Harrison said, "Who did they hire for this plant?" I didn't see any hiring flyers. Didn't hear about job fairs. So did they hire? That's a good question.
Good question.
We don't know. We look. This is the point. The point is, it's real low key. It's real low key for such a huge thing to
This
happen
man
with
said,
everybody.
"Look,
How many we have the senators on every week. We haven't talked about this particular plant. So
yeah, I feel like Senator Wayne mentioned that there might have been some talks about something possibly coming, but didn't say what. Wasn't anything real
no,
definite."
there's been no discussion on what's coming. Just that
Yeah, right, right,
things
right, right,
set up for coming, and there's things
right.
coming and stuff like that. Well, we got something coming. So and hey, man, I'm just voicing my opinion. Y'all might be real, fine with that being a also happy about the fact that there's a plant coming that hopefully people in our neighborhoods can take advantage of the job situation and so on. Don't know. RG in the chat said, "Peeling out here flagrant with it. 10K for a bootleg TED talk."
Not bootleg TED talk.
Also, Tony Johnson, anybody interested that the North Omaha DED director now has the business is trying to get a consulting contract for the Inland Port Authority?
Yep, it's Trevin Brooks and Julian Young. Those are the two that are kind of teaming up, I believe, for this Omaha Innovation Connection Hub.
Okay. Yeah, that was interesting. We definitely had some talks with Trey early on when he was at the DED, and I think he had some issues. I think he was going same kind of issues that some of the senators and some of the other people had. He was at the DED, and all of a sudden he wasn't, and
Hmm.
now he's a part of what's going on here with the Port Authority and some other things. So I'd love to have him on to talk about it. We asked him to come on when he was with DED, and I don't think he could just because of being in their situation. But maybe it'd be good time to have him on now. I'm kind of glad him and Brother Young are doing something here on this.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, so there's you kind of seemed skeptical when we first talked about the story. Does that
Mm.
change your
The
feeling about it?
Port Authority story.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I'm not skeptical about it. I'm excited about Port Authority. I just want. My question is always, how is this going to affect the area, the surrounding the North Omaha area? How's this going to
Mm,
affect the area? Any kind of big major programs and projects that happen like that, how is it going to affect the area? Is my first question. You know what I'm saying? And
hmm.
can people in the surrounding areas be a part of this? Can we have contractors that are helping build it? Can we have people that are going to work there from the area? That's all I'm talking about. But
Yeah.
yeah, the innovation hub, I'm pretty excited about the new tech on it for sure. But I just and especially now that I'm hearing that some of the people behind it. Of course, we know the senators were behind pushing for the money for it, so
Hmm.
that was already a green flag for me. And now some of the people that are part of this, Julian Young, especially Young, you know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
That's yeah, this is good news. This is very very good news. But there's always unintended effects and things that happen that they don't anticipate when you bring a big project to an area like that. And I'm just hoping it doesn't push us in the wrong direction in other areas and gentrification of the area and so on and so forth.
Yeah. Mm.
Yep. Um, Pop says so far that as distance that must be kept while filming police, the distance in some states is 25 feet, but not all states have this rule.
Yeah, and further up, he says Nebraska has no buffer law, which is what it's called, a buffer law.
Ah, okay, great. Appreciate that information there, Pops. No buffer law. Peyton Zina says again, more transparency is needed. So, well, we the people can voice if we agree or not. At the very least, hear that.
Hmm.
Jahi Shabazz says, I've gave Senator McKinney a plan to put up a plant for gainful employment in the industrial park area, and he's looking into it. Word
Okay,
with
okay.
that. With
Well,
that.
but what type of plant? As we see, it can't just be any plant. There's people who have feelings about what type of plant comes. So,
Hmm,
yeah, is there any suitors?
hmm,
Are there any suitors?
gainful employment. Anthony Rogers Rice says, y'all didn't charge 10K for the cookout though. Oh man, we messed up on
Man, yeah, we
that.
should have, man.
We
Could have been
always
taking,
selling ourselves short.
man, could have been taking pictures like Chris Brown.
Man. Hey, next cookout we have, we'll have a couple of cutouts of me and Buddy you can take pictures next to.
Yeah, yeah,
$10,000 a plate. We ain't gonna cut ourselves short this time.
yeah.
Not happening. Stacey Jean in the chat, good morning to you, says exactly at least a displacement. There's gonna be some displacement
Hmm.
for a big project like that. That's what it is. It's gonna be some displacement. How's that gonna how is it who's it gonna displace? How's that gonna work? You know what I'm saying? Is my grandma gonna
Hmm.
have to move? You know what I'm saying? I'd love to see how the port authority and also there's always questions about who's going to be the contractors for that too.
Yeah.
That's the other part.
Well, that's the kind of thing about it though, because I will say, shout out to Senator Terrell McKinney, put some respect on his name for this, because that is a requirement of projects going through the Port Authority. As Senator McKinney has mentioned, it is a requirement that projects that want approval from the Port Authority, want funding, have to speak to the community. So, as far as your skepticism or the question of whether or not how this will impact and how that is going to be always a part of the conversation. And it hasn't been with the business park, which is part of the reason why they're having trouble with the Inland Port Authority. So it does seem like as we go through this, it's seeming more and more so that Senator McKinney kind of thought about a lot of this, and whoever drafted this bill seems like it's already addressing some of that. So yeah, I'm excited to see how this comes about and looking out for opportunities for Brother Young and Brooks to speak to the community and have the community kind of chime up about what they would like to see or won't like to see with a possible iHub coming to the area. So yeah, all about it. And
Yeah, man. I appreciate everybody who's really talking about this too. It's good that we are asking these questions and putting that out there in a big
yeah,
way.
man.
Yeah, we appreciate it. Just want to remind people. Oh, Stacey Jean says after they steal grandma's house, do imminent domain. Yeah, these are some definite situations here that people are pretty pretty uh, worried about
Hmm.
with good reason. With good reason. So yeah, appreciate that. Also, before we go on to some more comments, just want to remind everybody, AfroCon is coming up. Is happening.
Man.
It's Saturday, October 12th. Highly encourage you to get your tickets and go for this. It's an all-day event there, AfroCon, 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. at the MCC Center for Advancement and Emerging Technology Building, the Cape Building. That's Building 24 on the North Campus of Metropolitan Community College. Definitely check it out. Saturday, October 12th. Bring the kids. Man, have them dress them as their favorite superhero and come on through. Get your blurred on and have a good time at AfroCon. The future is now. So shout out to Jade, our partner over there. AfroCon is putting this up. This is one of the highlights of the year for me. Is to go to this conference every year
Man.
for sure.
Man. Yeah, get
So
down. Get down.
yeah, shout out to her. Also, don't forget to sign up to our weekly rap newsletter as
Hey,
well. Really
speaking of getting
appreciate
down.
everybody that's done that already. I see the numbers growing and get some good feedback on it, and we're trying to upgrade it all the time. Here's the link. If you have not already signed up for the weekly wrap, it drops every Friday. Usually a recap of what's going on in the news and also talking about some stuff coming up and also some inside information on some of the discussions that we have here on the show, some of our insights on what's going on with First Sky Omaha in general, and also a survey that you can fill out to tell us about what kind of news you think is important. And we'll be talking about some of those results real soon as well. So shout out to everybody who's already participated with the weekly wrap. Go ahead and sign up for the newsletter. Fight the algorithm.
Man,
Fight the algorithm. Get your information directly. It's going down. Also, shout out to Ashley Spivey, who put out this little flyer about saving the dates. Voter registration deadline October 18th by mail, email, fax, or online is happening. What is it?
man,
It's coming up. It's coming
yeah,
up.
about a
And
week.
that's right. And as of today, October 7th, early voting has started. So
Man,
you
it
can early vote.
begins.
It begins. So definitely check this out. We'll pin this on Friends of First Sky Omaha so we can remember those dates that are coming up as well. Definitely hit up these dates and make sure that you're keeping track of everything that's going on. You got to check your status. They done move some things around. You don't know where your ballot, your poll place is now.
Man,
You got to make sure that your ID's up to date. All the stuff so that you can go ahead and participate in all this. Also, just want to give her a shout out. She's going to be canvassing for reproductive freedom Sunday, October 6th. Oh wait, we passed. Yeah, that was
yeah,
passed. Yep,
yesterday.
yep.
It was yesterday.
She got so much stuff going on, man. I can hardly keep track. She is one of the hardest working women in politics
Man,
and
man,
running right now in a big way in the
man.
community. Period. Really.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, running a business, a nonprofit, and running for office, and got kids.
And with some kids on the hip all the time, and
Man,
some little free kids too. Her kids are so free. They just be. I
man,
love to see little free black kids. Go on and be loud. Go on and walk around and take up some space.
be
You know what I'm
happy.
saying?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, I love it. I love it. Don't I can't stand it when I'm walking around. I'm seeing folks in our community like sit down, be quiet all the time to the kids. No, man,
mm.
let them kids smack somebody at the store. Go ahead and let them do. You know what I'm saying? Let them be free. Let them be free. I'm gonna jump back into the chat real quick if you don't
Mhm.
mind.
Yeah,
Wanda Lewis is saying the police make up their own laws as they go. They will threaten you and tell you anything if they don't want you to be recording them. Remember when they attempted to confiscate someone's phone for recording them?
hmm,
Yeah. So even if you can do that, even if you can legally stand there and film the situation, yeah, they'd
yeah.
be trying to stop you. They'd be trying to grab your phone and do all kinds of stuff.
Act like you're obstructing justice, and yeah,
Messed up. Mama God says, I ask about buffer law because I feel whenever we see police pulling over black and brown folks, pull over and begin filming them if you have time, for sure. I think if a community does that, more OPD will not be able to hide and held more accountable. I hope so. She says, we should have a community pact to do that without interfering with police and doing their duties. Yeah, I think it's a given, man. I think it's the new way to do that. Black Panther
hmm,
Party used to hop up with their rifles and make sure wasn't nobody getting roughed up too
man,
bad. We can hop out with our phones at the very least, especially if the law says we can. Not that our footage always results in cops getting what they deserve to get for some
man.
things happening.
Even if you catch it all on,
I mean, I come from the Rodney King era, bro.
man.
They've been filming us getting whooped for a long time
Yeah, I mean, even
and
with
getting
what
off.
just happened, they showed the video. They got it on camera. So it's
But that's right, and I highly encourage too, man. I'm like looking at your video in your car as well. It's pretty cheap these days to get some.
really like
Oh
a
yeah,
dash cam.
oh dash cam, yeah. Everybody, all this stuff you see on TV all the time is people's dash cams. Man, you get a dash cam for like $30. You know what I'm saying? Like, I highly encourage everybody to get a camera on their car and everything. You get pulled over, you got some footage of your own to be showing here,
Man, man.
and
Actually,
not
to
just
the
relying on the.
man on the police, right, right. They
Mhm.
said versus we said. But Anthony Rogers Wright is sharing. Actually, I remember hearing about this app. He says everyone should download this app. Stat: any phone recordings of bacon bits gets bacon bits get sent to the ACLU database where it will be safe even if they take your phone illegally.
Right.
So he's posting a link in the chat, and I do remember hearing about that article, hearing about that app. You download it, and there's actually a couple apps out there that allows you to record the police, get the footage back, and yeah, even if they take your phone, there's somewhere where it's safe because yeah,
Yeah.
there are examples of police taking people's phone, even trying to go through it, and yeah, yeah,
Even iPhone has a feature on there where you can say a word and it'll start up.
man, yeah, yeah. I did hear about that. Syria, get to work.
Hmm. Mama God says, please share, subscribe, and like First Sky. This helps us advance the efforts of First Sky. Appreciate you
Yeah,
doing
yeah.
the appreciate you reminding us to say that. Yeah, especially on YouTube, like and subscribe. Share the show. I didn't tell everybody to share the show today, so I hope you did. Share the show on your Facebook page. We really appreciate if you do that. Also, Sean McCarthy is in the chat, man. Give us
Hey,
love for the newsletter. I appreciate it. He said, love the articles referenced in this week's newsletter. Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate that.
yeah,
He says, one annoying thing from the Omaha World Herald, the paywall. It'd be awesome if they gave people a few free articles a month. True, true. We do put links to articles in the newsletter, and you do sometimes have to have a subscription to read those articles. Unfortunately,
yeah.
and yeah, and yeah, we're working on some things. So
Right, right,
say
right,
that.
right.
I'll just say that. Also, yeah, Anthony Rogers Wright has given us that link to that
Mhm.
ACLU
App.
app. Yeah, appreciate that very much. RG says, uh, Omaha World Herald doesn't even have folks working their customer service lines anymore. Those jobs got sent overseas.
Man,
Omaha World Herald been suffering for some years now, man, laying off people all left and right, big way. So yeah, it's hard. You're hard pressed to figure out what's going on over there sometimes. There's a lot of good reporters over there still trying to do the good work though, and
man.
I even though I feel like I'm starting to feel like the news, like media outlets like Channel 7, Omaha World Herald, we got a problem with. We got a whole section on our newsletter called "Read Between the Lines" because that's kind of what you got to do with some of these articles.
Man.
But then I'm also feeling like it's their organization is a little bit bent, and sometimes that whole situation with Brother Chapman, where he hit us back and he was like, "Hey, they told me I had to do that."
Yeah.
Was like, okay, so it's just like the police department. There might be some good folks in here working, but the whole system is messed up, a little corrupted. The whole culture is a little corrupt on in this place or that place.
Yeah.
Could be so.
That's why we exist. That's why we exist.
Yeah, for sure. Also, Mama Guy says my friend said she don't want dash cam because she runs lights and stop signs. She can't
Hey,
even
you
incriminate
got to be more
herself.
careful. Right, right, right. Ain't gonna get me. Nah.
And was filmed in high def for 9 minutes with close-ups, and they barely got him.
Yeah.
That's what
So
I'm
yeah,
saying.
getting it on video. I mean, it's things like qualified immunity. You know, the judges. Like, there's a whole other system after the video.
Yeah, that's where I'm at on that. Like the qualified immunity part.
Mm-hmm.
You can capture it. Listen, man. Listen.
Man,
Black Panther Party was jumping out like we gonna defend this brother if something happens. I can imagine. I'm thinking about the Rodney King days, and you seeing, 6, 7 cops beating on this man. You gonna jump out and film it? You gonna jump out and do something? What you gonna do? We don't encourage no violence on any level on either level. But
Mhm.
what you just gonna keep on letting somebody whoop you and kill you? It is the question. You got to ask the question. What you gonna do? What you gonna do? Just film it? I mean, that's my stance. I'm trying to be a reporter. I'm trying to show
Mhm.
this. I'm trying to spread the word. We also need that information. We also need that communication that needs to go out. That's what we've chosen to do with it. So yes, I'm gonna jump out with a camera, but at the same time,
Yeah, I mean that's in us being in season 1B, we do kind of start over, and the start of what first guy, the first theme, the first season was journalism is activism. For that very reason, during Freedom Summer, when that whole Chauvin and trial, all that whole situation was going on, um, either we get out and protest or we, do something else as far as cover it and kind of voice the movement and make sure people are aware of what's going on. And that's kind of the stance that we've taken, but it can't stop there. To
yeah,
Paul's point, it can't stop there. Something has to be done once we are familiar and aware of the information. So yeah, I definitely don't um, urge people to, just be warned with the police in the
mm,
streets.
mm,
Um, so what do we do? What can we do? And that's kind of the conversations that we have here. I do appreciate Pastor P and the meeting that they had over the weekend, kind of talking about some of the policies and how laws can be changed and how we can get people to run. Even Sister Sherry Thomas saying that we need more black people on the police force, because essentially it's not necessarily just the idea of policing in itself. I think police were doing their job, people would be fine with having police in the community. It's the fact that the police is overextending itself as an oppressive force in the community. So yeah, what would it look like if we had people from the community, brothers, sisters, cousins, um, that were our police force rather than others, which it seems like it is the case. People who don't look at us as community members, but look at us like you mentioned earlier, criminals and bad guys to be taken down,
Mhm.
rather than just brothers and sisters that just need a little correction.
Right. Yeah, it makes me wonder where the pressure it needs to be applied at all. Us, we have our police chief on getting on news briefs talking about things needs to change. He holds this in high regard as far as is the importance of anybody getting killed here. He's put out the word he's going to fire certain police officers for these things. He's been on talking about where the dash cam where the police cam needs to be worn on the helmet now. He's no more no knock warrants. He comes on talking about all this stuff, and where's he feeling that pressure from? Where's he feeling the pressure from? Where is the pressure being pushed on them to make some changes or do something different? Where can the laws for qualified immunity be changed? These are kind of some of the things that I'm more concerned with myself. But I'm also not sitting here in the moment of getting pulled out of a car today and getting threatened and getting shot at.
Mhm.
So Anthony Rogers Wright says self defense is not violence; it's intelligence. He actually put some articles in the chat to check out necessary defense. I'm not sure what this is. I haven't clicked on these yet, but click on them and check them out. See what he's talking about. Here's a law article that he's also posted here. Necessary defense. So we can be talking about things that are probably lawful in defense to do. This doesn't always mean if you black in black neighborhood you get the same privilege of the law. But what is law? Um, there's a lot there.
So
Go ahead.
just really quickly, just for context, I looked at it. Brother Anthony Rogers Wright sending a definition. It says the necessity defense, which is a criminal law defense. So this is a defense that you can employ if you're in court. The defense allows a defendant to avoid liability for unlawful activity if they can show that their actions were necessary to prevent greater harm. So
Yeah.
there you go.
Imagine Miller Jenkins is saying, I do want to point out again that Omaha police train with the IDF, so we can't be surprised when their tactics are similar.
And what is
They're
the
not-
IDF?
Yeah, listen with the IDF. Um, also, I mean, I'm remembering some videos that I saw, some trainings that they were doing where they're really glorifying the violence in the training,
Oh yeah.
big way.
Oh yeah.
Anthony Rogers Rice says we do not need more black people on the police force. See also Tyree Nichols. He was killed by black pigs.
Yeah. It kind of makes me think of Paul, your whole shtick about the pond versus the fish, and putting black officers in a messed up culture is just throwing clean fish in a dirty pond, and what's going to happen is the fish going to dirty up the fish going to clean up the pond, or is the pond going to dirty up the fish?
I mean, it's everybody is trying to act like it's all about a racial thing too. It's this police culture it don't matter what race you are.
No.
If you decide that you want to go police people, and the, what's the psychology of that you decide that you want to go police people that way? You know enough about the police department by the time you join it to know what blue life is.
Yeah. So that was one of the comments in the article that Sister Sherry Thomas said, and that was her point about needing black officers, to kind of change the culture, and which is kind of the same, conversation about Sister Precious in the Democratic Party. We
Mhm.
understand that these entities really aren't for us. So do we create these entities? Do we create our own, or do we go inside and try to be the change that we like to see? What do you do? Well, I mean, what do you do knowing that these things, are built for your destruction?
Good questions. Before we go to a break, I just want to jump into another comment here. Tonight, Patterson says self defense against a terrorist organization means death. Theory versus reality. Can't say I deny it. Can't say I don't agree. Also, like Mama God said too, black people on the force morph into OPD brotherhood culture to avoid workforce alienation. What happens to
Oh,
them when they don't join the culture?
not just workforce alienation, but you got to understand that their lives are in line as well. Their lives are on the line as well. You think friendly fire don't happen? And you think that friendly fire is always friendly?
Right. Anthony Rogers Wright says necessity defense allows us to break the law if it would prevent larger harm. So if we would have bum rushed Chauvin to save Floyd's life, the necessity defense would have applied legally.
Yeah, but how many people have lawyers to, who's well
Bro,
enough trained to employ that
before
defense?
we get to the lawyers, how many people would have got shot trying to bum rush the cops? How many more people would have died that day?
Which is exactly why, again, we don't want people like that's not what First Sky is saying. We're not urging people. But what do you do? Is the question.
Right. Matthew Miller Jenkins saying IDF is Israeli Defense Forces.
Which
Yeah,
is
we've
the
talked about
the
this before.
the backing behind the whole Cop City conversation, which we still haven't really had, which is a bond issue, as we have learned that the city of Omaha is putting on a ballot for people to vote on whether or not they will support millions of dollars being poured into a new training facility that now we know won't be in the hood, will be out in the outskirts where nobody knows what they're doing. And a lot of these training facilities do use tactics and trade, policies and tactics with the same force that is oppressing Palestine right now.
I highly encourage you to go to Brother Sherman Wells. I saw he was in the chat. Shout out to Sherman Wells. Sunday sermon with Sherman happened last night, and it was a very, very powerful, powerful show.
Want to get
Definitely
back
go
to that.
check it out. He spoke to Brother Leo Lewis from Malcolm X Memorial Foundation, and they brought out some new evidence. They talked about some of the history, some of the past situations that happened between the brother who got murdered and the police before this incident. They went in and and I highly encourage everybody to go check it out. It's intense, and they showed some of the video, and you hear the shots, and they really kind of go in on this. So I appreciate them for doing that. I had highly anticipated this broadcast. I was sitting over on YouTube waiting for it and missed the first 15 minutes because I didn't realize it was over on Facebook. So definitely go
Mm.
on Facebook and check it out. I'm sure that's still there for you to do that. And if you haven't commented on it, go ahead and make some comments. You can still comment on past live videos. We highly encourage you to do that in a big way. Appreciate everybody who's jumping in here. Yeah, Anthony Rogers says legally these are facts. I take your point 100%. I said so to answer me this, since I'm just a simple all ACAB black socialist. If crime is going down, as the Democrats say, why do we need more money for cops? Good question.
Yeah.
Good question. I like the. I forgot about this. Jahisha Bass says Midwest Guardians were black police officers. They have their own organization. We do need to hire more black police officers. Okay, that's the
I,
point.
I will say
Forgot
that
about that. Hmm.
instances and interactions that I've had with police
Hmm.
were lot less stressful and a lot more pleasant when it was somebody from the community that I knew and was familiar with.
I mean, they can be black or white if they're from the
Right.
community and they are trying to be of the community with you.
Right.
Then it's less stress. But yes, I too, get a black officer. Sometimes I'll be feeling that way too. It depends on the demeanor, though, man.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
thing is the thing is I was thinking about with this situation is that I'm not doing nothing illegal. I don't got no record, and you're not gonna catch no gun on me. I still get nervous enough to be like, am I gonna have to run right now if I'm getting pulled over and not even doing nothing that I need to be feeling that way about? And it's because it's you in fear for your if you black, you in fear for your life if you get pulled over. Point blank, period. I don't care
Right.
what's happening.
Not to be doing nothing.
You don't gotta be doing nothing. So
Don't
you
have to be
get
doing
pulled
nothing.
over you're on high alert. What's this? Let me look. I'm looking at facial expressions. I'm looking at body language. I'm on high alert. So yeah, can there be some situations in here where we have some people policing, the neighborhoods that are maybe from the neighborhood or something like that? I mean, that might help. I had forgotten about that organization, the Midwest Guardians. I remember hearing about that.
Mhm.
Yeah, maybe there could be. Hey, the whole system needs to be revamped when it comes to policing. The whole thing needs to be revamped. And no, I don't agree. Throwing a bunch of more money at them is the way to do that, and
No.
everybody seems to want to do that, and I don't agree. Um,
So
you could throw that same money to Black Agenda Alliance, and they can take them same kids that are out here shooting and getting in trouble and do something with them.
yeah, I mean, a lot of them kind of are the protectors in their family.
Big
Are the
time.
ones that that's a lot of that is what's going on. Is people protecting their family and their loved ones.
Right.
Somebody did something to them, and we got retaliation, and now you got street wars going on.
I
And
mean,
it's
that's
not
really
just
all it is.
yeah. It's so if you have somebody with a protective spirit and steer them in the right direction, then yeah, you might have a better outcome. But yeah, to your point, man, all the way around, it just seems like we're not really going in the right direction. Whether it be the violence in the community, economically, food wise. I
Yeah,
mean,
some may matching up with the lower crime, but more black men getting killed and everything else that's happened. Some may matching up.
well, brother Leo has said something that's interesting that kind of really jumped out to me during the conversation. Basically, yeah, said there are people in powers that be that are kind of letting a lot of this crime go on so they can do, as he mentioned, put it something greater later. Um, and that I actually think Senator Wayne had mentioned that as well. They with the not detaining, or no, it was actually Brother Roscoe Wallace when we spoke to him. How they're not detaining the youth, allowing the youth to get in trouble, kind of build a record, and then wait till they done killed somebody to where, oh, now we need to do something, when
Mhm.
you could have launched and put in programs and had resources before this, but that wasn't the case.
Yeah. Let's take a quick break and we'll come back and continue some of the rest of the conversation. Looks like we're not going to get the senators in today. That's okay. Like I said, if we don't, it's because they're busy, and we know that that's the case. They do come weekly. You can always go back to previous shows and hear some of the things that they have to say about all of it. Like Dynamite, I hear you, man. He said, "Remember the black cop from Boys in the Hood?"
Man,
I'm from the West Coast, bro. Ice Cube is like black cops showing out for the white cops.
man,
How many more times does that happen? And it ain't even about all that. It's really about the culture. It's really about the culture of policing. Stacey G in the chat says, when Jimmy Wilson got shot, I got stopped by the police numerous times that night just trying to get home. My van wasn't even the color that they were looking for. Being stopped by police when one of theirs gets shot was terrifying. One more thing to mention too that Brother Sherman mentioned on his show last night about the family of the brother who got killed was being harassed by the police yesterday or day before, and it just so happened that they pulled up on them, and they were out there, making sure that nothing happened to the family. Sherman, so shout out to Sherman Wells for jumping out, go ahead and being there and jumping out the car and all that. There's why is this family getting harassed now? Why are there several cop cars pulling over the family of the man who just got shot?
because they know they know who's who.
We're gonna take a quick break and come right back. First Guy Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
All B, buddy to God, all of you. Appreciate you coming on this morning and having things to say. Stay tuned.
That we do not intend to play the role that the Jews played. They're a bunch of megalomaniac warmongers.
Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. First Guy Omaha in the morning.
in the morning.
Heavy Monday, the October
Yeah.
the 7th is what it is. We appreciate everybody who is joining in and having these hard discussions. Appreciate everybody that shared the show and on your page as well. Continue to do that. Continue to comment on it. The conversation continues over at Friends of First Sky Omaha when we're not live. Highly encourage you to check out Brother Sherman Wells's page and see the Sunday sermon with Sherman that went down last night. It'll tell you a lot more about this whole situation. Also, we want to remind everybody that we are got some shirts for sale that were part of the proceeds going to the Omaha to the I'm sorry, the Underwood Tenants Group.
Mhm.
So they're still there, and I got a new link for you to order if you want to. I'll put that in the chat as well. Go ahead and hit that link, and go ahead and purchase your shirts there, so we can go ahead and raise some funds. A couple $100 has been raised already. Shout out to Ashley Spivey and her campaign. And we got a few that we're trying to, and we got a couple bucks that have come from some of the shirt sales as well. So appreciate everybody who's doing that. And we're going to continue to do that. And we'll check in with Brother Hassani Lee maybe next week to see what's going on there and make sure that they got what they need to continue to fight as well. Fight the towers. They're in
Man.
court, going to court with dealing with Omaha Housing Authority and trying to get some better conditions all the way around. So shout out to everybody who's already purchased shirts. Appreciate it very much, and appreciate all of you who've been
Thank you.
supporting what we're doing. Yeah. See Von Chapman in the chat. He says, I'm having a former police chief, Tommy Warren, a former police John Ewing, or even current police union leader, Tony Connor, changed the philosophy of OPD.
Talking
Good
about
question.
having black cops not just on the force but in leadership.
There you go. Very good question. We spoke to Brother Ewing a few months back, talking about getting him on the show. I definitely talked to him about his run as well. He's also running for mayor in 2025, along with Jasmine Harris. So there's going to be lots to talk about there for sure. Also, Wanda Lewis is saying we need to create a wall of people that have been killed by police, just like they memorialize their own. Whew,
Man, man,
big,
that would
big
be,
wall.
yeah, one would be a big wall, and one that'd be some controversy. Like, there was some pushback in trying to recognize and get a plaque for Sister Vivian.
In a street name, they would really push back on all of that. So
Yeah,
yeah,
like
yeah,
they don't want to recognize, anybody who's killed by the police is like they deserved it and they should be forgotten. Is almost how it's treated.
there you go. Oh man, I appreciate everybody who's chimed in on this. We got about 7 minutes left in the show, buddy. You want to do a little lightning round recap on a couple things here before we get out of here? How you feeling?
Um, yeah, I guess just had a few kind of policy, you know, stories pulled up. Was
You don't seem
anticipating
very
kind of
enthusiastic about it. You want to
no,
keep it
no, no, not based on what we're talking about.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
You know,
We
there,
don't have to. We don't have to.
yeah, yeah. I mean, there are some things we might post. Maybe look out for them on the newsletter. I do want to point out this public hearing that's kind of a hap.
Mhm.
I
Yeah.
guess let the people know about that.
Okay.
Um, because there are some initiatives, there's some ballot initiatives to look out for. Nebraska Secretary of State's office is holding a public hearing on the state's 6 ballot initiative. So again, if you're looking at your ballot initiative, you have questions about some of the referendums, some of the things going to the ballot, like again, abortion, medical marijuana, education. Some of these are actually those are kind of the 3 top issues that will be going to the ballot this year. So again, if you'd like to learn more about it, there will be several public hearings actually from the 14th, 15th, really the 14th through the 22nd. So we'll post that if you're interested in checking that out. You can see those times and dates and locations. So yeah, we'll post that in the chat if anybody's interested in learning more about that. Also, shout out to Precious earlier in the chat, dropping that quick guide. So if you want to, if you can't make it out to Lincoln and you still want to learn more about some of the referendums, you can check that out as well. But yeah. I mean, that pretty much does it, for the lightning round, man. I'll maybe post some of these other articles that I pulled at Friends of, so you can check that out. Some more information about Vargas and Bacon, and there are a list of judges, which is something that is interesting. A list of judges that are vying to be the next Supreme Court justice in the state of Nebraska. You might want to check that out as
Mm.
well. But yeah, none of that really seems as important as making sure that we're stopping the police from killing us in the community, and how how do we really address some of these issues, and yeah, make some change.
Yeah, I can hear the heaviness in your voice on that. This is definitely something that people been hitting me up all weekend about. I mean, this is top of mind, man. People are in our community are going through it and feeling shout out to people like Brother Sherman Wells, man, and people that are right there in the thick of it with the families,
Yeah,
talking
I
to the
mean,
police.
it's just all of it, like this is kind of at the heart of why I do what I do, and what kind of drives me as far as figuring out why a lot of this stuff. One, figuring out why a lot of this stuff is an issue, and two, how to change it and steer it. On a grander scheme and grander level. Whether it's my art and music, whether it's this, what I'm doing, and my media and journalism. Um, is this is trying to figure this out and solve this problem, as far as understanding why my people in this world get the treatment that they get, and people who look like me, you know um, why, and then how do we stop it. I pretty much got a grasp on why, but how do we stop it? Not quite sure.
Well, some people would say, some people that we have been looking up to, that say we're not outnumbered, we're out organized, but say by
Yeah,
any means necessary is how.
yeah, yeah, and I would have to agree, so we continue to find those means.
RG Mr. Get Don Klein out of the paint is also got a new hashtag called Kimra for Congress. Riding in.
Yeah, that is one means that we have found, is voting, and getting active, and again, at least utilizing our civic duties for the greater good. But in the meantime, between time, we all know the wheels of democracy run slow. So what do we do?
Good question. Magic Miller Jenkins is reminding us on this year of war that's been going on. She says, I can drop the article. It's in Urdu and you have to translate it. Iran and Saudi Arabia made an alliance the day after the leader of Hezbollah was assassinated. That happened last week. Haven't seen
Hmm,
it in American news.
okay.
Yeah, interesting that it's not in American news. Appreciate you bringing that up. Love to see that if there is a translation. Um, but yeah, we got all these things are kind of tied together. We just were talking about it about the Israeli forces that our police get trained
Hmm.
with.
Yeah, I mean, it's the same. It's the same, man. It's all the same. It's the same mentality, the same energy, and we're finding out it's literally the same tactics. Like, literally, let's not forget that Germany came to America to learn how to implement their whole genocide program.
Yeah, by studying what was happening with the slaves.
Yeah, yeah, it's all the same beast, and it has been going on in different. The face changes. It might look different. It might even operate differently from time to time, but it's the same thing. And let's not get mistaken about that. It is the exact same thing.
Wanda Lewis is reminding us to remember everybody who this his fall victim. This is
Yeah,
one more person. Remember, the police got away with killing of Marvin Emmons on 24th when they mistaken his cell phone for a gun. Let's not
yeah,
forget about him.
yeah. I mean, let's not forget that they stole the life of brother Ed Poindexter.
We're gonna go ahead and get out of here. It's about 1 minute to 9. Mama God is saying we love you, First Sky. Support these brothers to be able to continue this fight and be able to afford it. Great community here. Appreciate that very
Thank
much.
you, thank you.
Also, Tanaya Patterson says, there are no lines in revolutionary sand. Faux moral high ground stances against political front runners will not sway the masses into voting what they perceive to be against their own interests. A lot of people voting against their own interests on purpose, knowing it's against their own interests, and still want to hold tight to some of that stuff is quite ridiculous.
Man,
They're going back and forth about that. We appreciate you. Zyla says, have a blessed day. Jahi Shabazz says, the German Nazis and scientists were given a job and employed here in America, started the CIA and the Texas rocket program. Psychopaths pass on their success to each other and implement them. Interesting. Benjamin Jenkins says, "Thank you for providing a platform willing to have these tough conversations.
Man,
They're so needed.
if we don't, who will?
They're so needed. Like there's so much not no lack of communication, so much lack of conversation. How does anything move? How does any action happen unless you have talked it out, worked it out with each other first? How does any action happen without the conversation? So needed. And that's why we always are trying to big up everybody else that's having conversations too. Shout out to Sherman Wells. Shout out to Bill King at 95.7 The Boss. Shout out to Miss Cheryl Weston. Shout out to everybody who's putting their podcast together and their thing together to have these conversations to get to some action. That's the only way. Organizations are going to think about the Black Panther Party's newspaper, bro. The communication first. That's how it spread to different cities. That's how.
Man, everybody had a paper. Black Panther Party, the Nation of Islam, uh Marcus Garvey, the Garveyites had a newspaper. Yeah, this is the part of the revolution. But we're not fooling ourselves and saying this is the end all be all. So let's find some solutions and use this and keep it moving.
Just the beginning. Let's
Yep.
go ahead and get out here, buddy. You got some words for the peoples?
Man, I love y'all. I love y'all. Make sure y'all love on yourselves. Make sure you love on each other. And it might seem altruistic or grandiose, but love really can fix a lot of this. Love can heal all. So let's show some loves for each other a little bit more, and be the change that you'd like to see. So with that, take care of yourselves, drink a lot of water, in the words of Miss Erica Felt. In the meantime, between time, catch the same time, same place here on Monday and Wednesday. And of course, you can check in with us on at the weekly wrap every Friday. But until then, Paul B,
Yo,
take it
yo.
away, man.
Right on, man. Love supreme. Appreciate what you're saying there. I feel the same way.
Yeah, man.
Everything that we doing is definitely out of love, or otherwise, why do it? Pop says, thanks for a great show. They go by so fast. Everyone stay safe and see you Wednesday. Appreciate you, Pops. Most definitely. Appreciate everybody that jumped in. Oh, also, Anthony Rogers Rice says, "Oh, that was another one. Yes, another person that's got a podcast is having a conversation." He says, "Anthony Rogers Rice says this week on Full Spectrum, I'm joined by the great Ajamu Baraka. Oh, really? And you won't want to miss it. He's the goat. Yeah. Okay. Cool. 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 I can't wait to check that out. So shout out to
Yeah.
everybody who is having these conversations, continuing these conversations, looking for answers. And you're right. The conversation is some of the first steps, and we really can get to the second steps and third steps are also happening too. Be a
Yeah.
part of those. Be a part of them things.
Yeah. It's the term first sky.
There you go. We're gonna get out of here. We appreciate it. Please share the show, and if you miss any parts of the show, go back and check it out on YouTube. Like and subscribe, and hit the bell when you're over there, if you would. Very much appreciate it if you did that. Stay tuned for some things that are coming up as far as the website is concerned, and also some new journalism is concerned. If you want to be a part of that situation,
Yeah.
you want to get down with journalism as activism with us. Be one of the army of the citizen journalists that we're trying to put together. Hit us up. We got some things that we're putting in place, and it's coming soon. So hit us up if you think that you can contribute in those ways. We can help you become the journalist that you got inside of you. Trust
Yeah.
us.
And we need you. We need your help. We need your help. We can't do this without you. But if everybody does just a little bit, we can get a lot done, man. So yeah. Please join. Please join. Please help us. And until then, we thank you. We love you. And we appreciate you.
Yep. Shout out to everybody who has joined as a member. Become a $10 member, a $25 member, a $50 member of the situation here. In order for us to continue this on, we definitely need you as funders and helpers and donors. So I appreciate everybody that's done that already. And if you haven't, if you're so inclined, please go to firstskyOmaha.com, hit the donate button, and come on through with it. Come on through with it so we can do that. And come on in, be a part of what's going on here. Big things to come. With that said, we're going to give a thanks to the Omaha tribe elders for allowing us to be on this land and speak while we're here. Shout out to our elders allowing us to speak before you. And shout out to you, the chat chimers, allowing us to speak with you and have these great conversations that lead to some kind of action. We really appreciate everybody who joins us on a regular basis. And those of you ghost listeners that are just listening in and then spreading the word, we appreciate you too. And we appreciate you monitoring spirits that are checking us out and would never admit it because maybe you don't agree with some of the things that we do and say, but we're here
We
for
see you.
y'all too, for sure.
That part.
With that said, we'll see you Wednesday. We got special guests coming in Wednesday for sure, man. We have Katie Rain coming on in next
Hey,
week as well, man. And also we have Jaquila
Yarborough.
Jarbro coming in as well. So
Mm.
it's gonna be a Women's Wednesday, and we got some people that are powerhouses in the city, and we got some people that are also running for office. We're gonna meet other people running for office. It's definitely going to be a cool Wednesday. I highly encourage you to tell a friend, tell a friend, tell a friend, and tune in. And we'll see you then. Have a good one. Peace.
Peace.
By the way, Vanglorious. This is protected by the Red